He acknowledges the hefty energy drain and assures them he's okay, but they really need to skedaddle. Meanwhile, the gash on the beast's flesh starts mending like a miracle. Lu Ming looks on like, "This thing's healing up faster than a vampire after a steak dinner." King Yan urges him to hurry and make an escape. She cheekily asks if he's planning to carry her out, but he grins and says he's just avoiding any debts. He warns her not to create chaos since the exit is a little too high for her solo mission, but he can't be their personal taxi. He suggests she should go ahead while he plots a different. She shoots back that if she can't make it out, he better save Lu Yan at that waterfall down south and fetch her apprentice too. He shushes her confidently, asserting he can handle it. He hoists her up, and she instantly feels like her body is a pile of jelly. She inquires what he's up to as he preps for a leap, declaring that a stand-up guy like him can't let the ladies trail behind, crafting an intricate staircase of footholds as he climbs. They burst out of the beast's back just as the white-haired guy notices the monster's lightning-fast recovery, concluding it must be packing some serious star power. The red-haired dude, seemingly studious, yells at the winged girl Shiokin as she dives in from above. She flaps her wings in confusion, insisting she's clueless about his rants. He insults her, demanding to know what she's up to. Lu Ming and King Yun touch down safely on solid ground, and he praises their unspoken teamwork. King Yan suddenly spots a shadowy blade hurtling toward them. Lu Ming instinctively shoves her aside, taking the hit himself, sticking him to the ground like a dart in a board. King Yan gazes upwards to see her older brother flying off with their buddy Lu Ming, who's still caught inside the monster's carcass. The red-haired girl reflects that the sea monster was way too tough for her fire to affect, but the other guy swooped in like a superhero to save her. King Yun turns to the man and slyly asks if he's got a soft spot for her, which sends him into a colossal wave of purple energy erupts from the monster's body. He recognizes it as some forbidden mojo, realizing that the older brother is tapping into the energy of the casting machine. Gao Sirius, now sporting a demonic glow-up, breaks free from the monster. The blonde man raises an eyebrow, wondering how his combat juice shot up so fast. King Yan exclaims her brother's about to get a hefty serving of doom. Sirius, all transformed, and fierce, declares that time is ticking, so they gotta throw down fast. He locates the blonde guy inside the monster's gut and cheekily asks if he's kicked the bucket yet. Lu Ming finds himself in an unfamiliar shadowy realm, dreaming of a mouth-watering steak dinner with his master and another girl. His master Shai chides him to play it cool. He feels like he's trapped in a brawl. He jolts awake inside the monster, facing off with the transformed Gao Sirius, who calls him a nuisance and charges at him. Lu Ming, now in full armor mode, deflects the strike, calling Sirius his battle bro and urging him to bail before the monster's wounds get all healed up. He yells at the sea creature, referring to it as a cow and declaring his utmost disdain for cows. Sirius corrects him, stating, "It's a manatee, thank you very much." Sirius remarks it's a pity Lu Ming hasn't taken up kendo since he's got a knack for it. After catching a glimpse of the moon shadow's afterimage, Lu Ming brushes it aside, insisting they've no time for a debate about who's the best, while deep in a monster's stomach. Sirius mentions that the beast won't let Shiokin go because her herbal scent is driving it wild. At that moment, he feels the familiar tug of cultivation. He informs Lu Ming that Shiokin's got the wrong idea and prepares to take her down. Sirius extends his hand, demanding the cow, but Lu Ming replies that he hasn't got it, suggesting instead a sword. Sirius hacks a massive gash into the monster, entrusting Shiokin to Lu Ming's care. Meanwhile, a young boy's cries echo in a shadowy chamber while the elders watch him from the corners, discussing his destiny and how they'll drop the truth bomb on him when he's older. A powerful, godlike figure with flames of green proclaims that the boy's father isn't a demon and he must protect the things that matter. Sirius sighs, lamenting that it's such a shame Lu Ming didn't pick up kendo considering he's got some serious talent. After catching a glimpse of the moon shadow's afterimage, Lu Ming brushes it off, saying they really don't have time to debate who would win in a sword fight while lounging inside a giant cow's belly. Sirius quips that the cow's not letting Shiokin go since the herbal smell on her is like a 5-star buffet for its nerves. Right then he feels the urge for some serious cultivation. He tells Lu Ming that Shiokin has the wrong person and gets ready to take him down. Sirius extends his hand, demanding the cow. Lu Ming, looking a bit confused, claims he doesn't have it, but offers a sword instead because why not? Sirius makes a huge slice in the monster's flesh, trusting Lu Ming to keep an eye on Shiokin. Meanwhile, a boy's cries echo ominously in a dark chamber, while elders peer at him from the shadows, chatting about his destiny and how they'll tell him the truth once he's grown up. A godlike figure with green flames proclaims that the boy's father isn't a demon, unleashing a wave of mysterious vibes. Means talking about his destiny and how they'll spill the beans when he grows up. A godlike figure with green flames boldly declares that the boy's father is no demon and that to safeguard important stuff, one must give it their all. He calls on a spellcaster for some muscle as his form bursts into a dazzling light. Fast forward to now, Lu Ming gracefully lands, happy to see his gal pal is still in one piece. He turns to face a giant fishy monster surfacing from the depths, declaring he knew it was hot on her tail. The beast morphs into a gigantic demon with fiery red peepers, and Lu Ming warns it to take a hike away from his sis. The creature lunges, grabbing Lu Ming as the girl yells for her older brother. Suddenly, a flash of green energy slashes through the beast, which splashes away like a bad dream. On the beach, Lu Ming and his buddy are greeted by a horde of baddies. A snarky blonde guy tells the girl to lighten up, mentioning her 5-star combat power has hit the skids. Another dude with flaming red hair asks his boss Ning Wang if he should take care of business. Fuming, the girl yells that they ended her brother and readies for an attack, but her friend warns her to cool it. Ning Wang brushes her off like lint, calling her overpowered as he takes her down with a swirling green blade, yelling for the waist to bite the dust. Lu Ming screams his companion's name as she tumbles. He starts cackling like a maniac, a green glow flaring up around him. He warns Ning Wang not to push his energy too far, or it will get sucked right up. Ning Wang is agape as he feels his soul energy getting nicked. Lu Ming explains he broke the balance ban in the cave and added some spice to the soul. It's his special move called the anti-ban. He dishes out the scoop that by linking to a target's soul element, he can pull their strings at will. Under Lu Ming's command, the blonde guy is told to lend a hand, but the red-haired girl, Shoan, is having none of it. She angrily spills that Goose said it was the blonde guy who dosed Aang. Lu Ming tells the blonde to get lost, claiming he's out of control now. The guy's fate is sealed as Lu Ming announces it's time for his jam to wrap up. A quick flashback shows a mysterious woman with purple peepers tailing a dude in a straw hat, later spotted all wiped out. The woman watching from a distance recognizes Lu Ming and notes that he looks stable. She decides to let him focus on his trials, pondering that those 12 5-star killers are just the opening act. Back to the action, Ning Wang battles against Lu Ming's control, his body moving like a marionette as he's surrounded by the fallen bodies of his crew. He is terrified that Lu Ming's got such a crafty trick as the anti-ban up his sleeve. Lu Ming offers the useless Ning Wang a lifeline, demanding his soul essence back. The blonde dude, Old Hull, is forced down on his knees, and his buddy screams that he didn't pay him to beg. Old Hull pleads for his life, offering intel warning that taking them out will only stir up more chaos. Lu Ming lays down the law. It's kill or be killed, and he'll spare the last one standing. Ning Wang coldly proposes to his partner that they should just wipe each other out. The blonde guy mutters a curse about Lu Ming under his breath. Ning Wang tries to talk sense into his buddy, reminding him that the anti-ban has a time limit and they just need to hang in there longer. He urges him not to fall for Lu Ming's tricks, but the blonde dude suddenly stabs Ning Wang right through the chest. As Ning Wang collapses shocked, the blonde guy boasts that he's not tied to any rubbish buddies and their shattered soul can't be controlled. He brags that by destroying the soul and body, Lu Ming's anti-ban is toast. He then turns to Lu Ming, who calmly comments on his impatience. Lu Ming then drops a bombshell. He admits he wasn't great at wielding the soul essence ability, so he already handed it back to the white-haired dude. But the blonde guy he stabbed just a water golem, the real Ning Wang sneaks up behind him ready to settle the score. Lu Ming points out that they all should be ganging up on the treacherous blonde now. Ning Wang grabs him, and the guy hollers in betrayal. Lu Ming's partner tells him to stop, and to everyone's shock, Lu Ming tells Ning Wang to let him go. Xiao Qin is fuming, demanding to know why he would free the guy who brought them so much grief. Lu Ming explains that he's a straight shooter, but he also reminds Ning Wang that he never said the soul essence was a forever deal. The blonde dude takes off yelling that Lu Ming will regret this. Shortly after, a new girl with fiery red hair approaches, offering them a bottle of medicine for their friend's kidney issues, insisting a cute girl like her can't be all bad. The red-haired guy Wu Fahong calls her cute and gets a smack for his effort. The girl reveals that Lu Yan busted out of her water prison ages ago, and there are 6 six-star peak elders rolling with Mr. Zhu. The girl shares the island's dismal backstory, explaining how Mr. Zhu trained them to be spies after outside folks came barging in to loot their stash. She lets slip that she put a mark on Ning Wang, letting her keep tabs on him. Lu Ming confirms he can sense what she's up to with the soul essence and advises her to steer clear of the murky waters. Later, Lu Ming stands on a cliff amidst the pouring rain, pondering some weighty thoughts. He jolts awake by a campfire to find it's been raining for 2 hours. The girl says he was worn out and needed some shut-eye. Wu Hong jokingly offers her a piece of grilled fish, calling her his wife, and she snaps back angrily. Xiao Qin is too worried to chow down, sighing that everyone is split up, and Lu Yan's whereabouts are still a mystery. Lu Ming reassures her, saying her brother had faith in her, so she needs to have faith in him too. Their chit-chat is chopped short by the realization that the rising seawater is about to turn their cave into a swimming pool. Wu Hong teases her again with grilled fish, calling her his wife, and she snatches it away angrily. Xiaoyin is way too stressed to eat, lamenting that they're all scattered and Lu Yan's missing. Lu Ming comforts her, reminding her that her brother believed in her, so she needs to believe in him too. Just when they're getting somewhere in their chat, they realize the rising seawater is about to flood their cave. He reassures her that her brother believed in her, so she needs to trust in him too. Just as their conversation is getting deep, they come to the stark realization that the seawater is rising and their cave is on the verge of being flooded. They hustle to higher ground with Lu Ming yanking Xiao Qin up a steep slope by her hand, much to her irritation. The water's rising faster than a teenager can binge-watch their favorite series. Wu Fei Hong, when asked for a master plan, mysteriously says he's got his own guiding principles. He proclaims he's been waiting 3 years for a chance to unleash his fury and reclaim what's been snatched from him. Flames burst from his body, boiling the water around him like it's a pot of bad ramen as he boasts about his power being enough to crush the waves. They climb through a hole in the mountain ceiling and pop out into a snowy winter wonderland. Meanwhile, a white-haired lady with rabbit ears gets word that some unexpected guests have crashed the trial party. A flashback rolls back to the story of card maker Zhang Liang, who was booted by his master for hopping into the shady world of dark card making, swearing to show everyone this gig is more than just a side hustle. Fast forward to the present, Zhang Liang is soaking in a bubble bath, plotting revenge on both Zhang Fang and Lu Ming, when a mysterious dude named Mr. Zhu shows up, questioning him about getting schooled by a 3-star card maker. Back in the frosty scene, Wu Fei Hong complains about the cold, but manages to whip out a wombat warm baby card that instantly turns Xiao Qin into a human furnace. Their playful moment gets interrupted by a disembodied voice belonging to a 4-star condensed sword from the sword cultivation crew. A gigantic 7-starred bird of pure sword vibes appears overhead. A dude dressed in white informs them they're on a trial road of wind and snow, where the sword intent is about to hit a power-up phase to toughen their minds. Wu Fei Hong instantly, a pure sword intent materializes overhead, like it's auditioning for a martial arts movie. A figure clad in white pops in, informing them they're on a trial road blanketed in wind and snow, where the sword intent will get stronger to toughen their minds. Wu Fei Hong doesn't waste a second. Spits up some blood from the immense pressure, while Lu Ming appears to be completely unfazed. Curious as a cat, Lu Ming steps onto the path to check it out himself and wobbles. It hits him that it feels just like the tempering he got from that cat in his head. Realizing this is the secret sauce to his toughness, he also figures that the wood core he's after is probably stuck somewhere inside that manatee where the cat vanished. He notices his mind bouncing back from the pressure like he's had one too many energy drinks. Wu Fei Hong and Xiao Qin stare in disbelief as Lu Ming, a simple card maker, keeps advancing, almost catching up to the front runners of the trial. From afar, a long-haired dude watches Lu Ming's hustle with keen interest. In another snowy part of the trial, a master and his lackey are being overrun by an army of aggressive living snowballs. The subordinate gripes about how it's his master's fault for tickling their fancy, while Lu Ming reaches a snowy plateau at the top of the tower. He reflects on how the journey has sharpened his sword intent and willpower, making him feel as light as a feather. He spots Gao Shuing and her uncle trudging in. He's pleasantly surprised a ray mage like her could tackle this far. While she's just relieved to finally be here, her uncle, who had to crawl and claw his way up, brushes off her efforts to soothe his frustrations, proudly declaring he always knew his wife would follow in his footsteps. They scan the empty platform, which her uncle identifies as the energy zone of some fancy advanced architecture. As Gao Showing suggests, they split up to search. She suddenly spots a swirling anomaly up above them. It's a wormhole, and through it, Lu Ming can glimpse another group, including Zhao Jinxin. In that other spot, a white-haired fella named Old Nu conjures up a green tortoiseshell energy barrier, confidently telling his young master it can withstand anything below 5 stars, making the trio of 3-star snow creatures harmless. His bravado melts quicker than ice cream on a summer day when a gargantuan mighty snowball crashes through the wormhole from above, instantly demolishing the tortoiseshell barrier with a thunderous boom. Lu Ming, inexplicably clad in a soccer uniform with the number 10 lands smack in the middle of the flustered group, closely followed by a tiny furry creature that's surprisingly adorable. Zhao Jin's crew stares in shock at their sudden appearance, baffled by what the fuzzy critter is and how it tumbled through the hole. They pinpoint the wormhole as a gateway and surmise this must be their next challenge, concluding they'll need to wipe out the snowball creatures to move on. An elder in the group warns his master of a powerful energy incoming, and a grand voice from the sky questions if they are the ones who've been bullying his snow gardeners. A massive horned snow beast, a snow leopard, materializes in front of them. The guy called Old Nu yells at his buddy, Old Cow, to step back, claiming his defense array can hold up against the beast. The snow leopard shatters the new green shield like it's made of paper with a single swipe of its claws. Old Cow snickers at Old Nu for his failed attempt, sarcastically agreeing that his legs are definitely not limber. The master of the beast, a guy with flowing white hair, appears and unleashes a honey snow ice storm, an attack crafted to drain the energy of everyone caught in it. As his magic kicks in, the little ball creature that arrived with Lu Ming suddenly zooms through the air and slaps the Snow King right in the head. Lu Ming stands triumphantly over the downed members with a soccer ball at his feet, casually asking if that was the ball he just passed. The livid Snow King bellows that someone kicked his sukiyaki like it's a sports ball, and that's completely unforgivable. A sidekick warns that the monster is fuming as it charges forward. Lu Ming coolly tells the beast that it can have a kickoff anytime at his feet. He then effortlessly dodges the creature's fierce attacks, gliding around with the skillful grace of a top-notch soccer player dribbling a ball like he's in a highlight reel. His ball control is so impeccable that he seems to be nothing but a blur. Gao Xiaoing urges her frozen friend to stop gawking at the show, declaring she'll unfreeze him. Nearby, Zhao Jin refuses to team up with what he calls a bunch of little shrimps. His practical buddy insists they've got to save Luing, who's not cut out for solo survival. Gao Xiaoing gets in Zhao Jinxin's crew's face, reminding them they were just their knights in shining armor, but one of them arrogantly brushes her off, calling her and her pals Samsung leeches trying to milk their strength. Just as she's trying to make sense of it all, another snowball zooms through the air and smacks the cocky guy right in the kisser. This sends the Snow King into a frenzy, hollering for his little minion, while a notification pops up announcing the 4th mountain has officially opened for business. Suddenly, it starts raining ice swords from the heavens like it's the world's most ridiculous nature documentary. A system alert chimes in with the new mission, collect more sword energy and give the Snow King the old one too. A fighter named Yuing realizes that smashing the ice swords releases the hidden sword energy trapped inside like piñatas at a birthday party. And he's loving this surprise cash drop from above. Luing watches with a raised eyebrow, not missing that the swords aren't just aimlessly scattering, but are clustering on the outer edges, clearly staying away from Yuing's party. Remembering his dad's wise words about a true master, seeing the bigger picture, he has an epiphany. It's a trap. He yells a warning that once the energy's sopped up, those broken swords will become a solid brick wall, closing in on them like an ice prison. The other group, too busy grabbing energy like kids at a candy store, ignores him and tells him to quit yelling about his territory. The Snow King cackles madly, revealing that once they're energy filled, it'll all be his party supply. It starts sucking the surrounding power like a vacuum cleaner and morphs into a supersized Blizzard King. Gao Xiaoing screams that the king's about to have a go at them. The trapped warriors find themselves stuck, unable to break through the brand new walls. The Blizzard King launches a gigantic freezing blast of doom. The shockwave wipes out old tortoiseshell defense like it's made of tissue paper. Lu Ming is caught in the chaos and coughs up blood as the icy walls tighten their grip, sealing everyone in a frosty fortress. Meanwhile, in a different dimension, a bored, long-haired entity complains to an older gentleman about yet another snooze-fest trial, questioning why their legacy got boiled down to this mess. The old man just shrugs and says their trial isn't a walk in the park. Back in the ice trap, Lu Ming decides enough is enough and activates his God of War mode. A huge sword blazing in green and purple energy pops into his grasp as he gears up to unleash some serious firepower. Gao Xiaoying is blown away, recognizing the iconic weapon as her brother's saber. Lu Ming transforms into a hulking red and gold armored dude and faces the snow beast, telling it, "What's up, uncle?" He brags he'll take the beast for a ride through 2 tricks. The mysterious long-haired lady who's been lurking nearby takes note, seeing this as a prime opportunity. The armored Lu Ming clashes with the beast, which howls in pain. In a crafty feint, the armor lets itself get bitten and then disappears, revealing the real Lu Ming soaring above a field of ice spikes. Chortling at his successful trickery, he conjures an enormous honey snow hammer made of ice and swings it down toward the beast. The beast finds this turn of events quite intriguing and retaliates by crafting a massive ice spike from its tail, roaring at Lu Ming for daring to mess with the king's tail. The 2 gigantic ice structures collide, and the beast's tail spike gets brutally obliterated. The beast stands there shocked, thinking this is just the opening act. It demands to know how Lu Ming dodged the freezing fate. He explains that he canceled the God of War fusion just in the nick of time, breaking away from the armor. Now back in his regular form, Lu Ming says he's done with hiding and unleashes a devastating golden energy beam he dubs Broken Cloud. This attack carves a massive glowing canyon through the whole ice expanse, slicing the Blizzard King right in half. Gao Xiaoying and her crew breathe a sigh of relief, watching from the edge of the newly carved gorge in awe. Lu Ming stands solo, perplexed, wondering why the trial hasn't wrapped up yet, even with the Snow King taking a dirt nap. Gao Xiaoying rushes over to express her gratitude, but he brushes her off coldly, claiming he's only worried about the sword in her possession that belongs to his brother. As she fumes at his arrogance, the ground starts trembling like it's doing the cha-cha, and the ice plane begins to crumble with gigantic ice swords erupting everywhere. A final notification pops up announcing that with the king sent packing, the sword rain has gone haywire, and the final stage is now in full swing. Find the exit before you get swallowed by the sword forest. The survivors are left feeling hopeless, scrambling for a way out of the treacherous sharp maze. Amidst the chaos, Lu Ming grumbles that he's got to whip out his demolition cards, reasoning that while the objective is to find an exit, tearing down the sword forest will let him soak up its energy endlessly. So he decides it's time to bulldoze the whole 4th mountain. As he activates his powers, the terrain starts to tear itself apart like something out of a disaster movie, revealing the trial ground is really the 4th plane. The sword embryo, glowing with a dazzling golden light, has sucked up enough powerful sword energy to mold a 5-star sword cultivator seamlessly fitting together with the lightning original card. The cat-like creature gasps, exclaiming that Lu Ming is back. It's missed him dearly during his absence. It mentions that there was a 5-eyed bell core inside the body of the sea monster, causing a minor delay in its return. The creature then blasts off with unbelievable speed, surprised at how quickly it traveled from the other side of the sea, and it can't help but praise its own swiftness. It points out that once they hit shore, the flat land will make them easy targets. A weary Lu Ming appears, telling the creature that its shenanigans aren't amusing anymore and to leave him alone unless it has something actually important to say. As he activates his powers, the terrain starts to tear itself apart like it's in an action movie, revealing the trial ground is really the 4th plane. The sword embryo, glowing with a dazzling golden light, has absorbed enough powerful sword energy to mold a 5-star sword cultivator seamlessly fitting together with the lightning original card. The cat-like creature gasps in disbelief, exclaiming, "Lu Ming is back. It's missed him dearly while he was away." It reports the 5-eyed bell core inside the sea monster caused a teensy delay in its arrival. The creature then rockets forward at breakneck speed, surprised at how fast it made it from the other side of the sea while gushing over its own speed. It points out that once they get to the shoreline, the flat landscape will make them unmissable. A weary Lu Ming appears, telling the creature that its antics aren't funny anymore and not to buzz him unless it's something critical. It points out that once they reach the shore, the flat terrain will make them easy to spot. A tired Lu Ming appears, scolding the creature that its antics are old news and not to pester him unless it's absolutely essential. His pals found him, one asking if he was okay after waking up and another pointing out his ungrateful scowl. Lu Ming just grunted, giving them the cold shoulder. A buddy wondered where his hammer vanished, to explaining that it burst into a zillion streams of sword energy that flowed into Lu Ming like it was a buffet before poofing away. Lu Ming shot him a glare, declaring it wasn't thanks to him. Then, with a chill vibe, he added that he was cool because he had a plan. They stumbled upon a shopping cart that looked like it had hit the gym. Now it was more wheelchair than cart. A guy explained that it was a consolation prize for Lu Ming and that he wasn't asking for any cash in return. Another buddy admired the guy's handiwork, and they geared up to head down from the fifth mountain. Ahead, a sky fisherman revealed a dazzling light, giving them the signal to boogie. As they got closer, the sky buzzed with red lightning over what looked like a lava fountain. A dude with flaming red hair couldn't believe his eyes, scratching his head at how a snowstorm could be followed by thunder and lava eruptions. He looked stunned as another dude, Zhao Jinshin, swaggered forward, asking who made the rule that the first one had to show off. He shouted that it was his turn to shine, jumping into the chaotic sky. Another character yelled out his name in shock, calling him a real champ as he launched toward the lightning. A gigantic bolt of lightning zapped him down like he was a bug, sending him crashing to the ground with a thud that could wake the neighbors. Out his name in shock, calling him a real man as he zooms toward the lightning. But then a gigantic bolt of lightning zaps him down like he's a target at a fairground, sending him crashing to the ground with a resounding thud. An old dude with snow-white hair commented on the scene, explaining that lightning could toughen up one's energy and boost their cultivation skills. He added that getting zapped was all about the yin and yang vibes, with one being the smooth, cool yin lightning and the other the wild, erratic vermilion rays. As he chattered away, a tidal wave of red lightning came crashing down on him, making him scream like he just stepped on a Lego. His body shook from the electric shock. The elder noted that sword fighters usually go for yang energy and that most backup professions were all about weak bodies, calling this a quirky blessing. Lu Ming's buddies gawked at the spectacle, with one commenting on how absurdly hot it was, while Lu Ming scratched his head, wondering what kind of sound the screaming was. The man who jumped earlier showed up again, hollering for his wife to wait for him and griping about how absurd the fifth mountain was. He swooped toward Lu Ming, vowing to zap him for snatching his cash and promising to electrocute him into next week. Lu Ming raised his hand, conjuring a blue energy shield, gobbling up the guy's electrical tantrum with a satisfying crackle. A massive kitty-like eye watched the chaos unfold, noting just how loud it was. The cat creature soaked in the electrical energy, its body gleaming. Lu Ming breathed a sigh of relief, recalling that the instant the lightning hit, it felt like his original card was about to be ripped to shreds before it vanished. The cat creature confirmed it was the one lapping up the energy and urged him to keep going. It told him to soak up the lightning energy with his original card. The white-haired elder, desperate to snag first place, unleashed a mega green energy blast. He told his old buddies to make way, but Lu Ming cautioned him about having too much lightning, warning him to watch out for splash damage. The elder was flabbergasted that Lu Ming was using his own original card as a lightning magnet and questioned if card maker's tools were that tough, noting he'd never heard of a lightning-absorbing trick that wasn't insulated. A burly guy gawked in disbelief as the lightning zapped the elder, wondering if it was insulated and finding the whole setup outrageous. He bemoaned that his sword embryo wasn't as tough as Lu Ming's original card. Zhao Jinshin, still flat on the ground, struggled to stand, swearing he wouldn't back down. He declared he couldn't possibly lose to a business card and that defending the honor of sword cultivators was his duty. A woman told him to cool it, explaining that the lightning was actually enhancing her array source, and she needed to hang in there till the end. She expressed her determination not to let her brother down. Glancing at the finish line up ahead, she noticed that the others hadn't even made it halfway, giving credit for her progress to the cat brother. Lu Ming advised her to head back, but she asked why when the energy for the trip was still flowing. The cat creature showed up looking different, and she squealed, thinking it had morphed into a whole new species. Lu Ming told it to keep it up, explaining he was out of juice for this journey. The system chimed in, saying he could borrow someone else's. He glanced at Zhao King and the woman, noting that even a seemingly weak woman like her had come this far. He approached her, offering to take her for a spin. She was taken aback that he would take her, and he asked if she didn't want to level up. She agreed, and as he grabbed her hand, a colossal surge of lightning exploded around them. She realized he was actually willing to face the thunder and lightning again, just to help her, and a wave of happiness washed over her. The other two guys watched in disbelief, wondering why Lu Ming had come back and why they were walking hand in hand. The elder was fuming, grumbling that the resistance was just wrecking his sword tires and that they were insulting his profession and swiping his wife. The woman with purple eyes simply chimed in that they were all like firecrackers as she let loose a blast of energy. As Lu Ming and Zhao King strolled through the lightning, she suddenly powered up, a vibrant purple glow flaring around her. He gave her a hearty slap on the back, congratulating her on leveling up to 4 stars. She asked if he was feeling all right while he was drowning in worry about her, and she was shaking in her boots for him. The system threw a virtual parade for Gao Xiuing, celebrating his big score thanks to Wu Chang'an. An announcer boomed out the group rankings, with Gao Xiuing taking the gold, Lu Ming snagging silver, and Nu Yu Hixing capturing the bronze. The old man chuckled, reacting to Lu Ming's chivalry for letting the lady have first place, but Lu Ming just shrugged it off, saying it didn't really matter who was numero uno. He nonchalantly mentioned he didn't feel a thing, and if he had known, he would have switched things up. But hey, it's all good since first place came with no special goodies at this stage. Just then, another participant piped up, wondering about the auxiliary group's rank and their sword-wielding buddies. 2 guys stumbled in, finally crossing the finish line, griping about how tough it was to resist with the sword tire dragging all the way. Lu Ming reminded the young master that the elder had pointed out at the start that lightning was feminine and a no-go for sword cultivators. He explained the 5 mountains assessment was meant for them to skip the lightning and lava to flex their reflexes instead. Suddenly, the system flashed the updated sword cultivation group rankings. First place went to Wang Xuan, while the rest were just others. The young master lost his cool, whining that he wasn't even mentioned by name. His buddy urged him to chill out since he was basically a drama queen who needed a nap, but the young master wasn't having it and howled in despair. Lu Ming caught wind of this, recognizing Wang Xuan's name and realizing their squad had breezed past the 5 mountains and was leaving them in the dust. First place goes to Wang Xuan, while the second place is left for the rest. The young master is fuming, feeling less than worthy of a title, like getting a participation trophy in a school race. His buddy tries to calm him down, saying he's too delicate and really needs to chill for a bit. But the young master isn't having it and cries out in frustration. Lu Ming overhears this and sees that Wang Xuan's crew has passed the 5th mountain and is way ahead of them, like they're in a different race. He was indeed super fragile and needed his beauty rest. But the young master, feeling all kinds of wronged, cries out in agony. Lu Ming happens to overhear this and recognizes the name Wang Xuan, realizing their crew must have passed the 5th mountain and gotten ahead of them. An hour before the chaos, Wang Xuan was out with his 3rd uncle, whining that everything looked blurry to him. His uncle reminded him, "I told you, short hair is the way to go for guys." Wang Xuan then noted it was odd they hadn't run into any other practitioners yet, to which his uncle said it was 'cause they were just that badass. The uncle pushed him onward, insisting there was no time to slack off, with the 6th mountain waiting for them. Fast forward to the present, Lu Ming's crew strolled into a picturesque valley. They took a deep breath of the fresh air, but their moment of peace was shattered by a tremor that shook the ground. A voice called out, warning the swordsmen they needed to stay alive for a shot at the inheritance and should skedaddle. The earth split open, and a colossal rock beast reared its ugly head. The system chimed in, announcing the list of brave souls in the 6th mountain trial, including Wang Shu. "It's all about inheritance, and we should really try to escape," he advises. But then the ground cracks, and a gigantic stone creature bursts forth, making its entrance like it's auditioning for a horror movie. The system announces the latest headcount for the 6th mountain trial, listing off names like Wang Xuan Gao, Xiuing Xiao Jinxin, and Lu Ming. The massive earthen golem towers over them, lists the names of the participants, including Wang Xuan Gao, Xiuing Xiao Jinxin, and of course Lu Ming. The colossal earthen golem looms overhead, ready to unleash mayhem. The participants scatter like roaches in a light, gasping at the gargantuan beast and realizing there was no way a mere pebble pusher dealt with something like that. The elder proclaimed this was the real fight for survival and urged his master to be the first to make a run for it, calling Yuing crazy. Gao Xiaoying yelled for Lu Ming. Lu Ming popped up affectionately, calling her a big girl and cracking a cheesy pair-themed joke. He cursed himself for fixating on attack. They're calling Yuing crazy as panic spreads. Gao Xiaoying shouts out for Lu Ming. He shows up calling her a big girl and cracking a pair-themed joke that leaves everyone groaning. He also curses his own obsession with attack cards like they're the only thing on the menu. Realization dawned on him he hadn't bothered to research any escape cards. Just then, a rock plummeted down, smashing his leg, making a quick getaway feel like a pipe dream. The golem readied to swing, and he decided to give it his all with his cloud-breaking card. He unleashed the attack, but it barely left a mark on the golem. Just then, a mysterious woman with flowing black hair and a purple sword strutted in, telling him that his cloud-breaking slash didn't even faze the golem. Lu Ming lit up at the sight of his sister, excitedly telling her how much he had missed her, but she shot him the cold shoulder, saying she wasn't interested in chit-chat. She then grabbed his injured leg, making him wince and reminding him how delighted he was just to have his little sister around. She instructed him to tough it out. His bones knitted back together, and she informed him that he'd bounce back after using the special medicine he had cleverly borrowed. She then reprimanded him for being a snoop and invading her privacy, claiming the legal guardian title. As she spoke, dark, spiky tendrils shot up from the ground behind them. She noticed the golem was shaking off the hit and urged him to scram first. They spotted Wang Xuan and his uncle entangled by the golem's tendrils. The uncle yelled for Xuan to ditch him and run. Lu Ming wanted to spring into action to help them, seeing how battered they were, but his sister coolly said she couldn't babysit them right now. She turned to leave, but Lu Ming, fueled by heroic folly, dashed back to assist, causing her to call him a rebellious brat. Wang Xuan's uncle was stuck tight and begged Xuan to sprint as far as his legs could carry him. The golem squashed the elementalist Wang Tiandong, booting him from the trial without a second thought. Lu Ming stepped in, warning his brother Lu to stand still, as the rock giant was still in the mix, and they shouldn't act foolishly. He explained that the golem had been eyeing them the whole time. He shared an old hunter's tale saying, when you cross paths with a beast, just freeze and stare hard to send it running, he told. He explains that the golem has been just sitting there watching them like a reality TV show. He shares an ancient hunter's tale saying that when faced with a beast, one must freeze and lock eyes sharp as an eagle to send it scurrying off. He informs them to play statue and the beast wouldn't strike. Just as he finished, his sister appeared behind the golem, taking it down with ease, making him lament that this totally explained why the old hunter ended up as bear food. The golem's core flickered with the names of the last trialists Wang Xuan and Lu Ming, followed by a voice announcing their elimination. A giant rock golem loomed triumphantly, while a dude calling himself the God of War bragged about his legendary endurance, only for Lu Ming to pop up behind him and declare his time's up. The system blares out that the war god just got the boot from the trial, leaving a pink-haired lady gaping in disbelief, since she totally thought it was Lu Ming who got tossed. Her buddy breathes a sigh of relief, convinced that the pesky Lu Ming is finally out of their hair for good. Meanwhile, the woman's master is equally flabbergasted by the unexpected outcome. A dude in a fur-collared coat suggests that his young master simply steer clear of the towering giant and bide their time until the other contestants are done. The young master nods, praising the plan as tactically sound. From the shadows, a lady with glowing purple eyes keeps a watchful eye on the golem, realizing someone dropped the ball, and silently warns whoever is involved to keep their hands off her brother. All of a sudden, a colossal eruption of purple energy dubbed Star Lotus Cloud blasts forward, smacking the golem and turning it into a shower of rubble. In the chaos, Lu Ming proudly stands as a white-haired lady struts up asking what he meant when he said it was go time. She coughs and says she did what he asked and wants the next steps, but he clarifies that he merely told her to tie up the golem, not turn it into tiny bits. She shrugs off his worries, pointing out that it's about as mobile as a rock now. Meanwhile, two guys are spectating the mayhem. noting that Lu Ming is behind the destruction and guessing the golem will be back on its feet sooner than later. The duo decides to check on their third uncle first, who's been turned to stone. Lu Ming strolls over to the stony dude, figuring that the culprit must have been some black energy, and the white-haired lady warns him not to touch the statue, reminding him that black armor on the petrified man's hand must have absorbed energy from the golem when they came into contact. Convinced that the black energy is the key to this mess, he whips out an ablation card to suck it out. The card glows all bright and starts pulling the dark energy from the guy, freeing him from his stony grip. The recently freed man. Xiaowan shouts with joy that his third uncle is still alive. The uncle coughs, cracking jokes about his toughness before being informed that Lu Ming is the one who saved him. Lu Ming dives into his findings about the magical properties of the black energy. Just when the golem starts piecing itself back together, Xiaoyin urges a hasty exit, but dear uncle questions why they should rush, reminding everyone that the main rule is just to live. Lu Ming, however, points at the golem's still disheveled right hand, declaring their theory spot on and that he plans to wipe it out, eyebrow raised, at the vague victory condition of mere survival. As he gears up to act, a lady radiating a green aura comes in hot, announcing that it's about time for her to jump in and take charge. The girl with purple eyes confidently tells her brother she's got this, but he points out the stone man's regeneration is endlessly annoying. He jests if she's scared of getting worn out, and she takes that as a direct hit. Grabbing him, she threatens to snap his legs if he can't whip up a solution, and he sweats nervously, agreeing to let her take charge. Uncle 3 watches the sibling duo, commenting on their total disregard for the rules before a system announcement booms the start of the second stage final elimination. A countdown pops above Uncle 3's head just as the rebuilt golem shatters itself, launching a flurry of sharp projectiles at the contestants. The pink-haired girl realizes the shards are drawn to a mark on her head and shouts to her companion to protect themselves. Uncle 3 tells Xiaoyin to keep his head down as the flying rocks, which appear to specifically lock on Xiaoyin, begin to morph into ominous black smoke. The girl with purple eyes suggests they just keep dodging until this onslaught calms down. A massive boulder comes barreling towards Uncle 3, but the pink-haired lady's buddy intercepts it, unleashing a stunning electrical blast called Lighting Moon. The move decapitates the golem, but to everyone's shock, it starts healing before their very eyes. The fully regenerated golem roars with rage. The companion yells for Lu Ming to bring it on as tendrils of black smoke rise ominously from the ground. The pink-haired girl spots Xiao Jinshin and others nearby, noticing that the cloud of black smoke is being greedily absorbed by the golem. As it glows brighter from the dark energy influx, Lu Ming finds himself trapped in a swirling vortex. The white-haired lady's eyes widen with disbelief that he's capable not only of enduring her dark moon energy, but also sucking it in. Inside the chaos, Lu Ming feels the pure energy trying to take over his body before getting spit out of the vortex just as the absorption hits 100%. Coughing, Lu Ming realizes his initial lightning card has purified the black energy just for him. The golem, now able to chat, is flabbergasted that it can speak human and gripes about its former gravelly voice. Lu Ming awkwardly apologizes for stepping on its freakishly cracked skin, explaining he couldn't quite handle the sudden burst of energy. The golem calls this impossible and seems terrified, prompting Lu Ming to size it up and ask why such an innocent-looking creature would use sneak attacks. The golem tells him to quit judging its physique so bluntly, but Lu Ming can't help but point out the obvious resemblance to the fourth mountain, teasing whether it's too tall to see properly over it. The golem recognizes him, calling him its mountain bro. Lu Ming thinks about using a particular card again, curious about how it'll affect the golem, and jovially warns it to look after the sixth mountain with care. The golem starts to sob, lamenting its years of guarding in vain, and Lu Ming, trying to lighten the mood, tells it not to cry just before it unexpectedly falls apart. Xiao Jinshin checks on his wife, who sharply tells him to mind his own business. The contestants are, they're pleased to see the golem has scrammed, but hold up, the trial's far from over. Suddenly, the shards decide to play leapfrog and start coming together again, morphing into a pint-sized version of the golem. Xiao Jinshin shouts for everyone to hit the road while the pink-haired lady's buddies zip off to protect her like a knight in shining armor. Just when she thinks she's toast, Lu Ming swoops in out of nowhere, telling the tiny golem to hang tight. He's off chasing the little green monster across the field, wondering why it's hightailing it. The golem pleads for some peace and quiet, but Lu Ming traps it, firing accusations of bullying an innocent soul. He lays it out, saying he's the trial's big cheese, and it's got the goodies he's here to snag. The golem whines that if he swipes all the energy, they're toast. It spills the tea about the old guy Moonshadow calling in reinforcements. The golem spills the beans about how Moonshadow's legacy birthed Hidden Moon Island, but his brain went haywire, trying to dodge the pain from his darker alter ego. Lu Ming's sister is intrigued by the golem's twisted logic, but demands to know why he's gabbing with the rock instead of smashing it to smithereens. The golem reveals some juicy gossip. The dark side Hai Yuing is the one behind the black energy, wanting to off the top trialists to keep anyone from snatching up the inheritance. Once that treasure gets claimed, Yinyu Island will just be another snooze fest. The sister asks about Mr. Zhu and his crew, to which the golem calls them resource bandits who've been plundering the island for ages. Lu Ming gives a nod, confessing he's done his homework, and they plan to take him out as soon as he swoops in for the inheritance. He then threatens to blow the whole island sky high if they mess with his sister. The golem tells Lu Ming he's the only one who's ever made it think the inheritance could actually be touched. Sensing the sword embryo within him, Jiaowan suggests they scram danger lurks, but Lu Ming stands his ground, claiming Hidden Moon Island is as real as it gets, not some fairy tale. He tells the golem that its gig as guardian is to protect them from the bad apples while they go for the prize. When the golem finally nods along, Lu Ming beams and tells it to follow the leader. He adds a cheeky threat to disassemble it if it doesn't comply, and the frightened golem quickly agrees, especially when asked to hand over its energy. The golem grumbles, but Lu Ming declares it's his now. His sister observes, impressed by how he's got this bossy act down to a science, while the white-haired lady stares in awe at his commanding presence. A newspaper clipping floats by, looks like a fraud case involving a fella named Lu in Kingaming City. Meanwhile, Lu Ming's younger brother is hollering for his sister's help because his legs are apparently on strike. Lu Ming calmly tells her the stone dude is giving him a boost in energy and asks her to keep watch. She reflects on an old promise to always have his back. Coming to grips that her brother's journey is taking a detour, she never expected Lu Ming absorbs a mountain of pure energy. Feeling like a champ, he announces that his energy has reached the top of 3 stars. The small green golem now revealed as a girl flops onto him in fatigue. The sister warns him to not get too big for his boots just yet, that pure energy means his future gains will be a crawl. She tells him he's barely a quarter of the way to the full 3-star peak. He nods, understanding the vibe, but she's still worried he might get a swelled head. He calms her down, saying he's got self-awareness. While propping up the tired stone girl, his brother questions if they're hugging now. Lu Ming brushes it off, stating the energy debt will be paid slowly. The brother mumbles about Lu Ming draining everyone dry, yet somehow they still owe him. He tries to give Lu Ming a compliment, calling him handsome, but the sister just rolls her eyes at his shamelessness. Lu Ming reassures the stone girl there's nothing to fear as long as she sticks with him. As the crew strolls toward their final spot, they notice the timers seem to be getting bigger. They start wondering if the rulebook's still in play, now that Lu Ming's apparently tamed the guardian of those trials. When they reach a clearing, they find the stone girl hanging out, announcing the testers have rolled in, the timers are reset, and the finish line is now open. The timers above their noggins disappear faster than a magician's trick. A beam of light shoots up into the atmosphere as a voice declares Lu Ming the first-place champ of the 6th mountain. The other competitors are left with their jaws on the floor. Zhao Jinxin is fuming, wanting to know why Lu Ming herded all the examiners away, this time robbing them of their loot. The pink-haired lady is crushed that their scores have tanked to 0. Zhao Jinxin calls it quits and can't take any more of this nonsense. A woman with white locks lets loose a tempest of fire and ice, making the arm of a black-clad figure smoke like a barbecue gone wrong. The figure claims it was all just a mix-up. Luan tells her buddy to let it go, urging them to dash to the next mountain since she feels the weather's about to flip. 2 others chime in, deciding to wake their snoozing pals who have fallen behind. As rain begins to pelt down, a young man remarks that this gives off a weird vibe. In the deluge, a woman observes that the hailstones are like free energy boosts for their bodies, and this trial feels like a setup to give punishing vibes to those with a sword embryo. A white-haired lady tells her master that this is a win-win deal, while another quips that it's like getting smacked while being served candy. Lu Yan thinks the rainwater's packed with energy and muses that the combo of rain and hail makes for an all-around trial. Even with the rain pouring like a hippo on a trampoline, the ground stays dry as a bone. One of the gents riding They notice the timers above their heads getting bigger, and they start wondering if the rules still apply now that Lu Ming seems to have slickly tamed the trial's guardian. Arriving at a clearing, they find the stone girl chilling there. She announces with flair that the testers have arrived, that the timers have reset, and that the finish line is officially open for business. The timers above their heads poof into thin air. A giant beam of light shoots into the sky as a voice proclaims Lu Ming the first place winner of the 6th mountain. The other contestants just stand there, mouths hanging open. Zhao Jinshin is fuming, demanding to know why Lu Ming whisked all the examiners away, robbing them of their sweet rewards. Meanwhile, the pink-haired lady has gone pale, devastated that their scores have just been wiped clean like a chalkboard. Zhao Jinshin can't take it anymore and lets out a frustrated howl. Then a woman with white hair decides to mix things up by unleashing a torrent of fire and ice, causing a black-clad figure's arm to start sizzling like bacon on a skillet. The figure insists it was all just a big misunderstanding, because of course it was. Luann tells her buddy to let it go and rushes them to the next mountain because she senses the sky is about to flip its script. 2 others nod in agreement, ready to wake their sleepy pals who had fallen behind so they can stick together. As rain starts pouring down, a young man raises an eyebrow, commenting on how this weather feels a bit off. In the downpour, a woman points out that the hailstones are charging up their energy and that this trial seems like it's designed to coach those with a sword fetus with tough love. A white-haired woman tells her master that this situation is a win-win, while another chimed in saying it's like being whipped while receiving candy. Lu Yan ponders that the rainwater is packed with energy and that the mix of rain and hail makes this trial a real throwdown. The flying sword brags about splurging $1 billion to snag it and boasts that its speed is off the charts. His sidekick tells him to pipe down because some things are better whispered behind closed doors. A pink-haired gal named Xiaoying thinks she's been dragging Lu Ming down, especially now that Lu Yan's back in the mix and doesn't need her anymore. She tells her buddy that since she's lacking a support team and a sword fixer, they should team up. Lu Ming, however, yells for Xiaoying to hold up. He saunters over and assures her that even if he has tricks up his sleeve, he's stashed a few for her to keep safe. He then turns into a leafy mess and offers to be her personal umbrella. Suddenly, a horned beast bursts forth from the ground, carting them both on its back. The crowd is left in shock, wondering what gives with 2 people tagging along when this gig is only for One bystander complains that it's totally unfair and the guardian of the inheritance should put a stop to this nonsense. Not too far away, another group spots Lu Ming catching up with one of the inheritors, realizing opportunities like this are as rare as a unicorn and they should keep an eye on the show. As the creature barrels ahead, the group has no choice but to scuttle out of its path. The beast keeps rampaging forward until it finally reaches the 7th mountain. In a different realm, 2 figures, one rocking white hair and the other sporting black, observe everything like they're watching a soap opera. The white-haired one critiques how the inheritors are greedy little opportunists, just chasing after cultivation goodies, not genuinely wanting the inheritance. The one with black hair finds the kid amusing, saying he's just a little trickster trying to get ahead. The white-haired sage rephrases this as being open-minded and admits he'd love to meet the kid to see if his mind is as broad as his tricks. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit chamber, a silver-haired dude known as the Dark Card Master gushes about how it's finally showtime. He gets all thrilled while staring at a green portal swirling with spooky dark energy. An elder known as Old Zhu declares that a century-old groundwork has been laid just for this day. And once they pass that 7th mountain, the final inheritance will be unleashed. He orders everyone to start sprinting. His underling cheers, saying they're nearly at the finish line. The guy on the flying sword rallies his buddies, but out of nowhere, that creature carrying Lu Ming and Xiaoying zips past them. A lady in their group whines about how tired they are and wonders if Lu Ming is whipping up cards while riding that beast. Xiaoying asks if they should turn back this time, but her buddy thanks her for pulling her weight and hints at another trip. After a dizzying number of U-turns at lightning speed, Lu Ming finally reaches the destination, planting a flag on a rock that magically inscribes his name in first place, followed by Zhao Jinshin, Wang Chuan, and Wu Hongfi. Out of the blue, Lu Ming finds himself in a wacky, oversized world. A voice beckons him, saying he has finally arrived. Totally baffled, he asks who's talking. He looks around and realizes he's in a land filled with enormous plants, a place dubbed Hidden Moon Island. A gigantic creature swoops down, grabbing him in its claws. He gets dropped to the ground where he bumps into his sister, Lu Yan. He asks if he's entered some funky illusion, but she assures him it's as real as it gets, and they have to stay on high alert. He wonders if they've shrunk, but she explains the creatures here are just beefy, thanks to the rich energy in the legacy. She can't sense the others, leading her to believe they've all been tossed around to random starting points. She finds it odd that her power peaking at 5 stars is still intact, enabling her to easily squash a 4-star lizard. However, she points out that everyone's supposed to have their strength dialed back to 3 stars max while in the legacy. This means the other groups have free reign, leaving a massive power gap. Lu Ming, who's rocking a 2-star level, realizes just how dangerous this situation is. His sister asks if there's something odd about the suit he's wearing that's holding back his energy, but he brushes it off secretly, thinking he might be overanalyzing things. Lu Ming and Lu Yan decide to move along, soaring over a massive body of water. All of a sudden, a colossal fish jumps out and takes a swing at them. Lu Yan swiftly takes down the creature with a powerful energy blast. Nearby, Zhouing and her crew watch in awe. Zhouing thanks her hero, marveling at how gigantic the fish is. Her buddy chimes in, saying it's the first time he's seen one that large. Their chat gets interrupted by the entrance of Gao Tianlang, who quips that they're as speedy as the rumors suggested. He's told to cut the chatter. Another group, looking bruised and battered, stands nearby, with someone sighing defeatedly. Gao Tianlang suggests they join forces to find a way across the river. An elderly man, Elder Zhu, is warned by his master not to pay heed to a certain slippery character who claims he can't possibly have the power to obliterate the legacy. The old man tells him to take a closer look. Suddenly, a dazzling pink beam of energy blasts forth, with someone shouting, "It's the ablation." A bystander freaks out, asking what card was just played, while noting that the legacy's light is dimming. Another shouts at Kailan and Jiang Erling, calling them duds for not knowing what card was used. The old man gasps in shock, realizing the legacy is kicking off. Tears of joy stream down his face as he exclaims that after so many years, the beam's brilliance, shape, and color confirm that the legacy is truly beginning this time. However, his joy turns to bewilderment as the light fades and no one shows up. He watches as Lu Ming threatens to suck all the energy out of the formation if he doesn't get let through. A subordinate turns to Elder Zhu to ask what. The old man realizes with a start that the legacy is kicking off. He tears up with joy, exclaiming that after all these years, the beam of light, with its shape and color, proves that the legacy is finally starting. However, his joyous moment takes a nosedive into confusion as the light fades and nobody shows up. He watches as Lu Ming threatens to drain the formation's energy dry unless they let them pass. A subordinate leans in, asking Elder Zhu what. Zhouing and her crew are left watching in awe. Zhouing thanks her rescuer, clearly impressed by the size of the fish they caught. Her companion agrees, saying it's his first time seeing one so gargantuan. Their little chatter gets interrupted by none other than Gao Tianlang, who casually remarks that they're as speedy as the rumors suggested. He's told to take the nonsense elsewhere. Nearby, another group looking like they've been through a blender stands around one of them, letting out a dramatic sigh. Gao Tianlang proposes they team up to figure out a way to cross the river. Meanwhile, an elderly gentleman named Elder Zhu is cautioned by his master to steer clear of a particularly slippery character who insists he lacks the power to obliterate the legacy. The man urges him to take a good look. A bright pink beam of energy blasts forth, which someone identifies as the ablation. A bystander freaks out, asking what card he played to pull this off, while another shouts at Kailan and Jiang Erling, calling them total flops for not knowing the card in question. Elder Zeus suddenly realizes with a jolt that the legacy is getting underway. He bursts into tears of joy, shouting that after all these years, the beam's shape and color confirm that the legacy is really kicking off this time. But his happiness quickly shifts to confusion when the light dims and no one shows up. He watches as Lu Ming threatens to suck all the energy out of the formation if they aren't allowed to leave. A lackey asks Elder Zhu what to do, and he gives a half-hearted order to let them go. When asked about it, he snaps that their big plan takes priority. He then tells his right-hand man to keep an eye on Lu Ming and to eliminate him once they claim the legacy. Lu Ming's crew huddles together. One guy thanks him and says they owe him their lives. Lu Ming shoots back that it's a bit early for gratitude because their foes aren't just going to roll over after snagging the legacy. He suggests they make a hasty exit. As they're leaving, a ghostly old spirit pops up from the ground asking where they're off to and complaining about how thieves have been giving him a hard time for years. The spirit unleashes a blast of energy, yelling that none of the legacy bearers are getting out. Elder Zhu's crew gets caught in a sudden gust, and someone shouts that the folks have vanished. In another realm, Qianlong tries to rouse Zhao King, who thinks she's in a dream. He gives her a friendly slap to wake her up. She gazes at a gigantic glowing tree and asks Qianlang why he looks so stressed, but he insists he's just thrilled she's back. They suddenly find themselves in a new spot. One buddy recalls they were in the legacy and saw a floating white-haired dude above the formation who sent them here. Qianlong explains that must be the willpower left by Moon Shidao to safeguard the legacy, packing at least 70% of Moon Chido's power. Zhao King spots the bandage on Qianlong's arm, but he brushes it off as just a little mishap. Their chat gets interrupted when a giant aquatic beast lunges at Qianlong, pulling him under the water. The creature drags him toward its nest full of its equally terrifying friends. Qianlong vows that even if it's the end for him, he won't let them lay a finger on Zhao King. Just as he braces for a watery fate, a mysterious feline figure appears. It warns him that curiosity can be a cat killer and tells him to mind his own business before he's gobbled up by the beast's power. Meanwhile, in the spirit realm, the two parts of Moon Shadow are butting heads. The white-haired spirit insists that the legacy should go to Lu Ming, pointing out his impressive ranking and skills like poetry and football. The black-haired spirit vehemently disagrees, claiming Lu Ming is just a card maker who has zero right to inherit the swordsman legacy. The white-haired one counters that Lu Ming has a sword fetus and that one of his descendants ought to be a sword cultivator so he can eventually pass the legacy on. He accuses his rival of losing his marbles. Lu Ming, who dozed off during their spat, wakes up and calls them rude. A sword cultivator is up to for the promise of handing the legacy over to them later. He accuses his rival of having completely lost their marbles. Lu Ming, who had dozed off during their spat, wakes up and finds their rudeness shocking. He whines about his worsening astigmatism, and the white-haired spirit quips that he looks like a fool. The black-haired spirit menaces him, but the white-haired one shrugs, telling him to do whatever he feels like. Lu Ming sizes them up and asks if they're the black and white impermanents. The spirits reply that they are moon-shadowed. Lu Ming realizes that the stone giant wasn't joking about Moon Chidao's schizophrenia thanks to Elder Zhu. He calls Elder Zhu a jerk, and the spirits chime in, explaining that as guardians they can't off him, but feel totally powerless watching them wreck the legacy. Lu Ming pulls out a notepad and tries to play therapist, but they bark at him that they don't need any counseling. The Guardians can't take them out, but they're seething and powerless as they watch them wreck the legacy. Lu Ming pulls out a notepad and starts acting like a therapist, but they yell at him saying they don't need therapy. Out of nowhere, the isolation barrier around them starts to splinter. The spirits curse, realizing it must be those jerks outside, and they urge Lu Ming to grab the legacy. Lu Ming protests, proclaiming he's just a card maker and has no interest in it, but they assure him he'll understand one day as an intense light envelops him. The legacy wraps up, and the inner space begins to cave in. Outside, Qianlang instructs his group to use the portal and get out while he holds off the enemies that have smashed through the barrier. Lu Ming's crew gets ambushed, and Lu Ming goes out cold. His buddy tries to rouse him. A report comes in that Lu Yan, her brother, and the array magic caster have vanished. Elder Zhu brushes it off, saying Lu Yan has Qushugi's legacy, and Moon Shidao isn't about to hand it over to her. He commands his men to capture the other two who aren't sword cultivators. Qianlong and his friend are caught and tossed in jail. His pal asks if he's all right and if he's seen Zhao. Qianlong thinks Zhao Jinxin is pretty tough and probably gave them the slip. Meanwhile, Zhao King sits fretting over the unconscious Lu Ming, anxious about captured Qianlong and absent Lu Yan. She spots a light in the distance and decides to check it out. Her group quickly gets noticed. A subordinate tells his boss that they've located Lu Ming. The boss declares that Lu Ming's secrets are just as valuable as Moon Shadows and proclaims he's the key to controlling Lu Yan. He directs Ning Wang to catch him, sending 12 four-star sword cultivators to do the job. He warns his lackey that she spots a light in the distance and decides to go check it out. Her team soon makes the discovery. A subordinate reports to his boss that they've found Lu Ming. The boss declares that Lu Ming's secrets are just as important as moon shadows, and he's the key to controlling Lu Yan. He tells Ning Wang to capture him, assigning 12 four-star sword cultivators to the mission. He warns his lackey that Lu Ming has an odd fighting style. The subordinate who has tangled with him before brims with confidence. The boss reminds him that he and Elder Zhu will hunt down Lu Yan and to keep his own head above water. He plans for Lu Ming and Lu Yan to have a little reunion in jail. The subordinate, now revealed to be an old acquaintance, stumbles upon Lu Ming lounging by the seaside. He sets up a barrier, declaring that Lu Ming is in no position to cause havoc. His crew is taken aback to find Lu Ming awake, as they thought he would still be out cold. Lu Ming suddenly pops awake, charged up with the legacy's energy. He chastises Munchido for cramming the legacy into him like some kind of living USB flash drive. Munchido's voice chimes in that since Yuabi took up card making after his nudging, who else could he entrust it to? Lu Ming resolves that in that case he has to step up and conjures a cosmic-looking card. The minions tie Lu Ming up with special chains, and the subordinate reports that the task is complete. Greets the seemingly knocked-out Lu Ming like an old buddy. He then brags that Lu Ming is clueless about his situation and that those fancy chains can't be snapped even by your average sword-wielding Joe, much less a card maker. He's practically dancing with joy at the thought of torturing Lu Ming, but then bam, the chains explode into pieces. His underling is dumbfounded, wondering how in the world the chains are broken. He then yells for his goons to take Lu Ming out. Lu Ming taps into his shiny new powers, whipping up energy blades from cards that slice through the attackers like hot butter. He shouts that he is now officially sword cultivator Lu Ming. The energy surge sends shivers down the spine of the master and his beefy sidekick. The master gets a funny feeling that Ning Wang might be in hot water and asks for an update. He decides he'll just check things out himself. Lu Ming is standing over his defeated lackey, saying he really didn't want to do this, but won't throw the first punch unless he gets one thrown at him. The lackey bows his head in defeat, and Lu Ming smirks, saying he kinda asked for it. The master and his buddy stroll in fashionably late. Lu Ming throws them a cheeky taunt, and then boom, he's attacked by the big man, whom he cheekily calls a flea. Lu Ming swats away the attack with his energized card, and the big guy is shocked that Lu Ming would actually dare use an original card as a weapon. The big dude scoffs, claiming Lu Ming is just a kid, and that original cards are fragile like Grandma's china, blasting out a powerful purple energy wave. Lu Ming senses that he's in for a rough ride and calls out for Mr. Cat to wake up, or he's gonna be in a heap of trouble. A giant shadowy wolf-like beast materializes behind the attackers, leaving them wide-eyed with fear at the rumbling power. Mr. Cat makes his entrance. Lu Ming points out they're up against two masters at the top of the 6-star level. Mr. Cat lets out a few choice words about their rotten luck. The battle kicks off with Lu Ming dodging a blast of energy. He yells for Mr. Cat, who gets smacked by an attack meant for the master. The lackey yells at Mr. Cat for stepping in, but Mr. Cat tells him to mind his own beeswax. Lu Ming decides to go all out with a move he learned from Munchido, warning Mr. Cat it's gonna drain a ton of energy and he might just pass out afterward. He tosses a card into the air which shoots forth a dazzling beam of light. The attack forms a massive sword of light that comes crashing down on the battlefield, leaving everyone stunned. The big guy's brother gets obliterated in the blast, and he swears Lu Ming won't live to tell the tale. In a fit of desperation, he unleashes a final energy attack. The attack looks like it's gonna land, but it smacks helplessly against an energy shield. A tiny black cat is seen napping on the unconscious Lu Ming's chest. The cat chimes in, telling the little brat he's doing just fine without him. Not too far away, Lu Yan stands over the defeated crew, telling Elder Zhu he can't escape. She pokes fun at his 4 pals for failing to take her down after a lengthy scrap. Elder Zhu claims it's because he recognizes her talent and didn't want to off her directly. He gives her a chance to join them. She's on board but demands she be the boss. Infuriated, Elder Zhu calls her full of herself. Suddenly, his underling points skyward where a bright beam of light has popped up. Meanwhile, a pink-haired lady cuts her hand and lets her blood drip into the water. Lu Yan shows up and asks what in the world she's doing. The woman explains that the last time she got hurt, a manatee was drawn to her blood, which ended badly for Tian Lang. She wants to lure them all away, claiming it's her last shot. Lu Yan stops her, suggesting she shares some blood for a better plan. She dips her bloody finger into the water and warns everyone to stay sharp. The sky crackles with lightning as a monstrous creature is summoned, and an onlooker identifies the energy as sword intent. A woman with white hair unleashes a storm of fire and ice, causing a black-clad figure's arm to sizzle from the injury. The figure insists it's all a big misunderstanding. Luann tells her buddy to let it go, urging them to hightail it to the next mountain since she senses the sky is about to change. Two others chime in, deciding to wake up their snoozing friends who've fallen behind. As rain begins to pour, a young man remarks that the weather feels a bit off. In the downpour, a woman notes that the hailstones energize their bodies, and this trial seems custom-made to punish those with a sword fetus. A woman with white hair informs her, "Master, that this situation is a win-win deal," while another adds it's like getting beaten with a side of sugar. Lu Yan ponders that the rainwater holds energy, and this rain and hail combo makes for one comprehensive trial. Despite the heavy rain, the ground stays bone dry. One of the guys on a flying sword brags about dropping $1 billion to snag it and proclaims its speed is unbeatable. His buddy tells him to lower his voice, saying some things are best kept at home. Yoing, the pink-haired lady, feels like she's been dragging Lu Ming down, especially now that Lu Yan's back and he no longer needs her. She tells her partner that since she doesn't have backup or a sword repairer, they should join forces. Lu Ming, however, shouts for Xiaoying to hold on a sec. He steps over, saying that even with other cards, he stashed a couple with her for safekeeping. He then transforms sprouting leafy bits and offers to be her personal umbrella. A horned creature suddenly bursts from the ground, carrying the two of them on its back. The onlookers are shocked, questioning why two people are teaming up, when the assessment is just for the chosen ones. One argues it's not fair, and the guardian of the inheritance should put a stop to it. From afar, another group watches Lu Ming catch up with one of them, noting that chances like this are rare, and they should keep an eye on them. As the creature charges onward, the group has no choice but to leap out of its path. It continues its wild rampage. They've got a golden opportunity here, and they better not overlook it. As the creature guides them along, the group has to clear the way quickly. The creature continues its unpredictable rampage. Finally, they make it to the 7th mountain. From a different dimension, two characters are having a front row seat, one rocking white hair like a supervillain, and the other sporting black locks. The white-haired one quips that the inheritors are just a bunch of resource-hungry opportunists not genuinely invested in the inheritance. The black-haired figure finds the kid quite a piece of work, claiming he'll just be another sneaky opportunist. The white-haired ally rephrases this, saying he's simply open-minded and can't wait to meet him in person to see just how far this kid's mind really stretches. Meanwhile, in a gloomy chamber, a silver-haired dude known as the Dark Card Creator dramatically announces, "It's showtime." He's practically bouncing off the walls while eyeing a swirling green portal oozing dark energy. An older man, Old Zhu, pipes up saying that their 100-year groundwork was all for this moment, and once they cross the 7th mountain, the final inheritance will be unleashed. He rallies the troops to take off like a bat out of hell. One of his buddies cheers. They're almost at the finish line. The guy on the flying sword is urging his pals to keep up, but suddenly they're outpaced by the creature having a piggyback ride with Lu Ming and Xiaoying on board. One of the women in the pack groans that they're tired of all this nonsense and wonders if Lu Ming's busy crafting cards while wrangling the creature. Xiaoying asks if they should backtrack this time, but her buddy thanks her for holding it together and proposes another wild ride. After a dozen hairpin turns at top speed, Lu Ming finally arrives at the spot, planting a flag on a rock that magically scribbles out his name in first place, right above Zhao Jinshin Wang Xuan and Wu Hongfi. All of a sudden, Lu Ming finds himself in a wacky, oversized world. A voice chimes in saying he's finally made it. Confused as a cat in a dog park, he asks who's yammering. He scans his surroundings and figures out he's in a place with massive plants dubbed Hidden Moon Island. A colossal creature comes crashing down, snatching him up in its claws and dropping him like a sack of potatoes. He lands right next to his sister Luann. He checks if he's stuck in some kind of dream, but she reassures him it's all too real, and they need to stay on high alert. He wonders if they've shrunk, but she clarifies that the creatures here are just ridiculously enormous thanks to all the energy floating around in the legacy. She can't detect the others and figures they were all flung to different starting points at random. She notes something odd, explaining that her strength sitting right at the pinnacle of the 5-star level makes it a piece of cake to take down some 4-star reptile. But she points out that everyone else's power should be capped at 3 stars max inside the legacy. This means the other groups can flex their muscles without limits, creating a massive power difference. Lu Ming, stuck at a 2-star level, starts feeling the heat. His sister wonders if the suit he's wearing is an energy-sucking contraption, but he downplays it secretly, thinking he's just been overreacting. Lu Ming and Lu Yan decide to take flight over a big old body of water. Out of nowhere, a gigantic fish launches itself and tries to munch on them, but Lu Yan quickly dispatches the beast with a spectacular energy burst. Nearby, Zhou and her crew are watching this whole fishy drama unfold with their jaws dropped. Zhou thanks her hero for the save, completely stunned by the size of the fish. Her companion chimes in, stating it's his first time seeing something that huge. Their chinwag gets interrupted by Gao Tianlang's arrival, who comments that they're just as speedy as folks say. Someone tells him to quit the nonsense. Another group looking worse for wear and covered in bruises is nearby. One is sighing like he just ran a marathon. Gao Tianlang pitches the idea that they should team up to figure out how to cross the river. An old-timer, Elder Zhu, is cautioned by his master not to listen to a slippery snake who claims he can't wipe out the legacy. The guy instructs him to take a good gander. Suddenly, a dazzling pink beam of energy erupts with someone shouting, "It's the ablation." An onlooker freaks out, asking what card he used, and pointing out that the legacy's light is dimming. Another shouts at Kai Lan and Chiang Erlong, calling them total duds for not knowing what card was played. The old man has a revelation that makes his eyes go wide. The legacy is finally kicking off. He's practically crying tears of joy, exclaiming that after so many years, the beam's light, shape, and color confirm the legacy is genuinely beginning now. But then his joy spirals into confusion as the light starts to fade, and no one shows up. He watches as Lu Ming threatens to drain all the energy from the formation if they don't get a move on. A subordinate asks Elder Zhu how to proceed, and he begrudgingly tells them to let them through. When pressed, he snaps that their grand master plan takes precedence. He then instructs his subordinate to keep an eye on Lu Ming and to take him out once they snag the legacy. Lu Ming's group stands united, with one expressing thanks and claiming they owe him their lives. Lu Ming responds that it's too soon for gratitude since their enemies won't let up after snagging the legacy. He proposes they skedaddle first. As they make their exit, a white-haired spirit claws its way up from the ground, wondering where they think they're off to, whining about how thieves have been tormenting him for years. The spirit unleashes a wave of energy, declaring that not a single inheritor can make their escape. Elder Zhu's crew gets caught in a sudden whirlwind, with one shouting that the people have vanished. Meanwhile, in a different realm, Gao Tianlang is trying to wake Xiaoying, who's convinced she's dreaming. He slaps her awake, and she spots a gigantic glowing tree, asking Tianlang why he looks so frazzled, but he replies he's simply thrilled about her return. They find themselves whisked away to a brand new setting. A buddy remembers they were inside the legacy and has a flashback of a white-haired old man hovering above the formation who sent them packing, and he reluctantly orders them to let them go. When questioned, he snaps that their long-range plan comes first. He then instructs his subordinate to keep watching Lu Ming and to kill him after they get the legacy. Lu Ming's group is basically shouting that after years of waiting, the beam of light, its shape, and its color confirm that the legacy is genuinely beginning this time. However, his joy turns to confusion as the light begins to fade and no one has shown up. He keeps an eye on Lu Ming, who's threatening to drain every drop of energy from the formation if they aren't allowed to pass. A subordinate asks Elder Zhu what the plan is now, and he reluctantly tells them to let them through. When questioned again, he retorts that their long-term strategies take priority. He instructs his subordinate to keep a close watch on Lu Ming and to take him out once they've secured the legacy. Lu Ming's group is huddled together, with one expressing gratitude, saying they owe him their lives. Lu Ming retorts that it's too early for thank yous, as their foes won't let it slide after snagging the legacy. He suggests they take off while they can. As they leave, a white-haired spirit emerges from the dirt, asking where they think they're headed and lamenting how thieves have tormented him for ages. The spirit unleashes a wave of energy, claiming that none of the inheritors can escape. Elder Zhu's men get swept up in an unexpected gust of wind, and one cries out that the people have disappeared. In another dimension, Tanlang tries to rouse Zhao Qing, who is convinced she's in a dream. He gives her a good slap to wake her up. She spots a giant glowing tree and asks why Tianlang seems so bothered, but he insists he's just overjoyed about her return. They find themselves zapped to a whole new location. One companion recalls that they were inside the legacy and recalls seeing a white-haired old man floating above the formation who sent them off. Tianlang spills the beans that he's basically the designated willpower left by Mun Chidao tasked with guarding the legacy, and he's got at least 70% of Mun Chido's mojo. Zoking can't help but notice Tianlang's arm is in a pretty rough state, but he shrugs it off like it's just a minor boo-boo. Their chit-chat gets interrupted when a colossal underwater beast appears, yanking Tianlang below the surface. The beast drags him toward its nest, which looks like a creature convention gone wrong. Tianlang vows that even if he meets his maker, he won't let them mess with Zio King. Just as he braces himself for the Grim Reaper, a mysterious cat-like figure shows up, warning him that curiosity is a cat's worst enemy. The figure advises him to keep his nose out of trouble before he ends up as Beast Chow. Meanwhile, in the spirit realm, the two halves of Mun Chido are having a spirited debate. The white-haired guy is all for handing the legacy over to Lu Ming, citing his impressive skills in poetry and football. The black-haired spirit is seeing red, arguing that Lu Ming is merely a card maker and not worthy of the prestigious title of sword cultivator. The white-haired spirit fires back, claiming Lu Ming has a sword fetus and that one of his descendants needs to become a sword cultivator for the legacy to continue. He accuses his counterpart of having lost touch with reality. Lu Ming, who's been snoozing through the debate, wakes up and points out their rudeness. He gripes about his worsening astigmatism, to which the white-haired spirit quips that he looks like a total fool. The black-haired spirit plays the tough guy, threatening dire consequences, but the white-haired one says to go ahead and have a field day. He accuses his rival of losing his grip on reality. Lu Ming, who had taken a snooze during their argument, wakes up and critiques their lack of manners. He moans about his worsening astigmatism, to which the white-haired spirit chimes in, calling him a fool. The black-haired spirit declares he could take him out, but the white-haired one tells him to knock himself out. Lu Ming notices their rough appearances and asks if there's some sort of black and white ghostly duo. The spirits, not missing a beat, declare they are Mun Chidao. Lu Ming has a lightbulb moment, realizing the stone giant was spot on about Mun Chido's battle with schizophrenia thanks to Elder Zhu. He calls Elder Zhu a total jerk, and the spirits agree, explaining that as guardians they can't just wipe them out. They joke about Mun Chido's schizophrenia being the fault of Elder Zhu. He calls Elder Zhu a jerk, and the spirits agree, clarifying that as guardians they can't wipe them out. They're fuming and helpless as they watch the legacy be tossed around like a hot potato. Lu Ming pulls out a notepad and tries to play counselor, but they shut him down, insisting they're not interested in any therapy sessions. Suddenly, the isolation barrier surrounding them starts to crumble. The spirits angrily deduce that it must be those troublemakers outside. They urge Lu Ming to take the legacy. Lu Ming protests, stating he's just a card maker and has no need for it. But they cryptically promise he'll understand one day as a blinding light envelops him. The legacy comes to a close, and the inner space begins to implode. Outside, Tianlang instructs his crew to use the portal to escape while he buys time against the enemies who have managed to break through the barrier. Lu Ming's crew gets ambushed, and he ends up out cold. His buddy tries to rouse him. A report comes in that Lu Yan, her brother and the magic array wizard, have vanished. Elder Zhu waves it off, saying Lu Yan has Ku Shui's legacy, and Moonshadow won't just hand it over to her. He sends his men to capture the other two, because her brother and the array magic caster have vanished. Elder Zhu brushes it off, saying Lu Yan has Ku Shui's legacy, and Moonshadow won't pass it to her. He instructs his men to nab the other two, who aren't sword cultivators. Tianlang and his buddy get caught and thrown in the slammer. His friend checks in on him, asking if he's all right and if he spotted Xiao Jinxin. Tianlang figures Xiao Jinxin is probably too strong to have been caught. Meanwhile, Xiaoying is anxiously sitting beside the unconscious Lu Ming, fretting over Tianlang's capture and Lu Yan's disappearance. She catches sight of a light in the distance and decides it's time for who is clearly strong and probably hasn't been caught. Meanwhile, Xiaoying sits with the unconscious Lu Ming, fretting over captured Tianlang and the absent Lu Yan. She sees a glimmer in the distance and decides to check it out. Her crew is soon on the scene. One of the underlings informs his boss that they've found Lu Ming. The boss boasts that Lu Ming's secrets are like no other and that he holds the key to controlling Lu Yan. He orders Ning Wang to capture him, assigning 12 four-star sword cultivators for the job. He warns his underling that Lu Ming has a quirky fighting style. The subordinate who has faced Lu Ming before assures him he's got this. The boss reminds him to prioritize his own skin, while he and Elder Zhu plan to locate Lu Yan, intending to put Lu Ming and Lu Yan together behind bars. A subordinate who has faced Lu Ming before expresses his faith in himself. The master urges him and Elder Zhu to find Lu Yan, reminding him to look out for his own skin first. He's plotting to have Lu Ming and Lu Yan meet in a cell. The subordinate, who turns out to be a familiar face, finds Lu Ming chilling by the sea. He sets up a barrier, declaring that Lu Ming can't destroy anything here. His men are caught off guard to discover Lu Ming isn't asleep as they assumed. Lu Ming suddenly wakes up, infused with the legacy's power, chewing out Munchidao for shoving the legacy onto him like he's a living flash drive. Munchido's voice echoes back, pointing out that since Lu Ming became a card maker on his suggestion, who else was he supposed to pass it to? Lu Ming resolves that if that's the case, he's got work to do and summons a card that looks like it came from outer space. The subordinate's gang chains Lu Ming up with some fancy chains, and the subordinate announces that he's got the job done. He greets the seemingly unconscious Lu Ming like an old friend. Then he can't help gloating, saying Lu Ming doesn't have a clue what's happening, and that the special chains can't be broken even by a more seasoned sword cultivator, let alone a mere card maker. He's having a field day imagining torturing Lu Ming. But in a shocking turn of events, the chains snap like spaghetti. The subordinate is left speechless, wondering how that just happened. He yells at his men to wipe him out. Lu Ming taps into his newfound power, manifesting energy blades from cards that slice through the attackers like butter. He declares that he is now sword cultivator Lu Ming. His surge of energy is felt by the master and his hulking sidekick. The master senses that Ning Wang might be in hot water and requests a status update. He decides to check the situation out in person. Lu Ming stands over his defeated subordinate, insisting he didn't want it to come to this and won't strike unless provoked. The defeated subordinate kneels as Lu Ming tells him he really asked for it. The master and his bulky companion arrive just in time to see everything unfold. Lu Ming teases them, and before he knows it, he's being attacked by the big guy, who he cheekily refers to as a flea. Lu Ming deftly parries the attack with his energized card, leaving his opponent bewildered that he would weaponize an original card. The big guy suddenly finds himself under attack from a large dude he jokingly calls a flea. Lu Ming parries the strike using his energized card, leaving his opponent astonished that he'd use an original card as a weapon. The big guy scoffs at Lu Ming being way too young and how original cards are as fragile as a soap bubble, unleashing a wickedly powerful purple energy blast. Lu Ming feels the intensity of the energy and pleads for Mr. Cat to wake up, or he might just find himself in a pickle. A gigantic, shadowy, wolf-like beast pops up behind the attackers, leaving them jaw-dropped by the booming power. Mr. Cat makes his grand entrance, and Lu Ming realizes they're up against two masters at the pinnacle of the 6-star level. Talk about unlucky. Mr. Cat mutters about their woeful luck. The showdown kicks off with Lu Ming nimbly dodging an energy blast. He shouts for Mr. Cat, who gets nailed by an attack intended for the master. The subordinate hollers at Mr. Cat for being the ultimate bodyguard, but Mr. Cat snaps back to mind his own beeswax. Lu Ming decides to bust out an attack he picked up from Munao, warning Mr. Cat it'll zap a ton of his energy, and he might just faint afterward. He chucks a card into the air, which blazes with a dazzling beam of light. This move conjures a massive sword of light that comes crashing down on the battlefield, leaving everyone completely floored. And the brother of the big guy meets his unfortunate demise in the blast, vowing that Lu Ming is not making it out alive. He unleashes a final desperate energy attack like it's his last dance. The attack appears to land, but it gets blocked by a shimmering energy shield. A small black cat is chilling on the unconscious Lu Ming's chest, and it cheekily tells the brat that he's doing just fine without him. Over yonder, Lu Yan looms over the vanquished foes, dealing a verbal smackdown to Elder Zhu, letting him know he's got no escape route. She grins at his four pals for flopping after a long, drawn-out tussle. Elder Zhu claims it's because he values her skills too much to just take her out. He offers her a chance to join the crew. She's game, but with a catch, she wants to be the head honcho. Infuriated Elder Zhu calls her full of herself. Then, out of nowhere, his minion points up to the sky, where a radiant beam of light has bounded into existence. Elsewhere, a pink-haired gal slices her hand and lets her blood drip into the water like it's some kind of potion. Luan slides in, asking what she's up to. The woman explains that last time she got a boo-boo, a manatee showed up and caused major chaos, leading to Tianlang getting seriously hurt. So she figures the best thing to do is scare them all away. Lu Yan stops her, claiming she has a plan, and asks for a bit of her blood. She dips her bloody finger into the water and warns everyone to be on high alert. The sky electrifies as a colossal creature is summoned, and a spectator declares that the energy is laced with sword intent. She descends into the deep blue, her awareness slipping away, pondering how her little brother would come to her rescue. Suddenly, Lu Ming zooms through the water toward her, and she shouts a warning to watch out. A gigantic shock wave of energy slices through the water behind them as Lu Ming snatches her up and whisks them away. Lu Ming's sister Xiaoying gasps in disbelief that the old man is still kicking. Lu Ming confirms she's talking about Elder Zhu and asks if she's 100% sure. She nods enthusiastically. With fierce determination, Lu Ming pulls her close and launches toward the surface, bursting out of the water as if it's his personal water park, coughing up blood from the exertion. An unfriendly pursuer pops up from the depths, hollering that they are clearly on the run. Lu Ming retorts that, well, of course he's running since she's hurt, and he's no match for the big bad guy. Watching from a distance, Elder Zhu remarks that it seems Lu Ming can't keep chowing down on his original cards and the sword baby anymore, telling the fleeing duo they're on borrowed time, and he's eager to see how long they can hold on. Suddenly, a herd of beastly creatures with horned skulls burst through the surface, mooing like they really mean business. Elder Zhu swears under his breath, wondering why the horned beasts can't take a hint and just chill out. As they're closed in, Zio King freaks out, asking Mr. Cat if he can handle this mess. A pair of glowing golden feline eyes flickers in the dark as a radiant light emanates from its mouth. The beasts quiet down as if they're suddenly in a meditation class. Zoking, now atop one of the massive creatures alongside Lu Ming, asks what's going on and how he managed to charm the manatees. He shrugs and says he has no clue, but maybe it's because he's tight with Xiaoying. Skeptical, she asks how tight, and he hurriedly assures her it's nothing like she's imagining. Just then, Elder Zhu launches another attack from above, fuming that he'll finish them off. Xiaoying leaps off the manatee to intercept the strike. Lu Ming shouts out in alarm, asking if his sister is going to blow herself up again as a purple aura starts buzzing around her. Elder Zhu looks on, flabbergasted, right before another monumental explosion shakes the water. As the tumult settles, a new spectral figure emerges, commenting that Lu Ming's level isn't high enough to push his disciple to self-destruct. Zhou King quips at the newcomer for taking her sweet time, and she beams back that important characters always make their entrance at the last minute. Lu Ming jumps back, bewildered by her sudden appearance, wondering when she even showed up. He then scratches his head, questioning why she's staring at him as though she's fallen head over heels. The woman places her hand on his chest, causing a green light to flicker alive. Lu Ming gasps in shock, which prompts Xiaoying to chide him for making such peculiar sounds. Lu needed to lend a hand as a colossal stone creature hovered above them, casting a shadow bigger than a bad hair day. Lu Ming realized he recognized that stone giant, and with a sinking feeling thought, if that old rascal manages to kaboom his sword fetus and blow up the Sixth Mountain, we're in big trouble. The blast would erase everything in its path. As Elder Zhu prepared his big attack, he suddenly found himself sucked into a tunnel of light, questioning what was happening as his energy vanished faster than snacks at a party. Lu Ming was doing his best to keep the stone giant at bay, hands lit up like he just chugged a gallon of energy drink, yelling that Zhu couldn't get his sword Kai together right now. They needed to boogie because he wasn't going to last much longer. The woman with the frosty white hair focused her mojo, firing off a beam of blue energy that went straight through Elder Zhu's head. He hit the ground like a sack of potatoes, mumbling it was impossible, as if he just realized gluten isn't his friend. Meanwhile, the girl with green hair looked on as the white-haired lady rolled her eyes, saying Xiaoying's brother was a real brainiac. Xiao King was watching poor Lu Ming, who looked like he just ran a marathon on the beach, pondering if that was the famed power of Moonshadow and how in the world he learned it so fast. A horn blared in the distance, and Xiao King perked up, recognizing it as their school's ship coming to pick them up like a superhero in disguise. She gently took Lu Ming's arm, complimenting him on his performance and insisting it was time to head home now. Aboard the ship, an epic meeting was about to kick off. The principal cleared his throat and said everybody was present. So let's get this show on the road. A grumpy-looking dude interrupted the little get-together with one big burning question: who snagged the legacy? After an awkward silence, he added that he told them those kiddos had some brains and knew how to stay safe. Next, he called them his treasured students, telling them the legacy was now in their hands, so take care of it. One nervous student piped up, insisting they didn't have it at all. The principal nodded, saying he got it. None of them had it, but praised them for their epic find of the legacy's hideout, offering a request as a shiny reward. Another student jumped in with a request, but the first dude cut him off, shouting that his assistant card maker had to be a two-timer or something. Lu Ming turned to Xiaoying and asked if she wanted anything while she stared at him, thinking he looked so serious. It was cute. Xiaoying thought to herself, "Wow, he's pretty handsome." Lu Ming then boldly declared he wanted in on First College. Xiaoying couldn't resist and spoke up, demanding 5% shares of the island once it's renovated, adding that ownership should go to her brother. This made the principal transform into a furious beast, roaring like a lion that he couldn't even fathom it, because the island would become a training hub, and keeping the portal open costs a pretty penny. He then bellowed, "Do you think I'm a kitty?" Xiaoying stepped up, saying they were the ones who discovered the island and kicked out the old residents. So strictly speaking, it didn't even belong to the college yet. The beastly principal stood there speechless and intimidated by the glowing eyes of Xiao King and the white-haired woman. As he reverted back to human form, he sighed, explaining that rebuilding the place would require both manpower and resources, and he couldn't decide all by himself, so she should forget about those shares. Xiaoying then added her own demand, insisting they enroll Lu Ming too. The principal acknowledged that Lu Ming had some serious talent and met the special admission criterias, but then he trailed off, distracted by flashbacks of Lu Ming's past. He concluded it was feasible, but had to discuss Lu Ming's unusual identity with others first. He told them since things settled down a bit, they would hang tight for some good news. With the meeting wrapping up, the principal cheerily announced the ship was now cruising into the teleport portal to head straight back to school. Gives in, explaining that the reconstruction plan required manpower and resources, and that he couldn't make the final call alone, telling her to forget about shares. Xiaoying then demands they enroll Lu Ming too. The principal acknowledges Lu Ming's immense talent and potential that meets the special recruitment guidelines, but trails off when looking at images from Lu Ming's past. He concludes that it could be possible, but with Lu Ming's unique background, he needs to chat with others first. He informs them that now that they've calmed down, the ship sailed toward the glowing portal and vanished into it, with Lu Ming waving goodbye like he was auditioning for a talent show. Back in his room, Lu Ming stumbled upon an equity transfer paper waiting for him about sprucing up the moon shadow relics. Just then, his sister barged in without knocking, asking if embracing nudity while asleep was some kind of quirky fetish. Lu Ming shot back that sleeping in the buff was totally normal, and invading someone's privacy was the weird part. Xiao King informed him that the school thought he was too destructive from the trial, and they didn't recommend him for special recruitment. She added it was nice to get paid, but she'd be heading back to Sky City in a few days because she had her own missions and might beat him out. When he inquired if she was leaving, she replied her mission was just starting, hoping he would impress her even more the next time they crossed paths. Lu Ming then pondered why Ui wasn't on a mission with Senior Q, and his sister's voice chimed in, saying Ui already returned to King of Ming City, and he must have missed all his messages. A notification popped up showcasing he had over 99 unread messages. Glancing at the time on his phone, he realized he was in big trouble. Arriving at the bustling three-way junction of King of Ming City in the evening, Lu Ming shouted for Yuabi, letting her know he was back in town. He sauntered into a dimly lit room and called out her name once more. Suddenly, two glowing red eyes peered from the shadows, and Lu Ming yelped, asking what in the world that was. A petite pink creature chirped, asking if he was looking for someone. Lu Ming blinked, trying to figure out what the little critter was thinking. It looked oddly familiar. Then Ui, now in her humanoid appearance, sauntered up behind him, asking if that was his original card and giving him a playful jab for forgetting her. Lu Ming was flabbergasted, demanding to know how his original card could morph into this new form and how she managed it. Yubai cheekily replied he realizes he's in deep trouble. Arriving at the bustling evening scene of King of Ming City, Lu Ming shouts for Yuabi, announcing he's back. He steps into a dark room, calling her name again. Suddenly, two glowing red eyes flicker in the shadows, and Lu Ming yells in fright, asking what it was. A tiny pink creature chirps, asking if he's looking for someone. Lu Ming wonders what the little critter is thinking. It looks oddly familiar. Ui, now in her humanoid form, appears behind him, asking if that's his original card and accusing him of forgetting about her. Lu Ming is taken aback, questioning how his original card can change forms and how she pulled that off. Yubai explains she just kept insisting that her beloved original card had grown up, and it was time to just wing it. After she dropped that bomb, it morphed into something else. Lu Ming, looking like he'd seen a ghost, asked if she was a deity, and if the card really transformed just because she was chanting like a spell-casting diva. Lu Ming, caught off guard, fibbed hard, claiming that the creature was a card spirit born with the wisdom of the original card to help card creators. He kept spinning his web of lies, saying that a supercharged card spirit could grow, create cards, cast spells, heal, and even evolve totally solo, like a one-man band. When Uabi showed her amazement, he bragged that it was his unique legacy folded right into his teachings. Then he had a little voice in his head saying there was no such thing as a card spirit. He just made that up from his gaming past. He waved Ui off, telling her to go and level up by herself. After she exited, he slumped against the door, calling out for his beloved original card and mimicking the chant Ui had used. After a moment of crickets, he felt bummed out, questioning if there was a skill gap and who the real whether they like it or not pupil was. Then he pumped himself up, reminding himself that he had the Munchidao legacy and didn't have to sweat it. He decided to check out what he got from the legacy, remembering that Moon Chao squeezed all the basic sword skill knowledge into his brain. The key treasure was a book that appeared out of nowhere. It laid out techniques ranging from 3 stars to 9 stars, each level packed with a killer sword technique. He realized this was the Moon Shadow legacy and thought, hey, with this, he no longer needed a card spirit and could tackle both card creation and sword techniques, making level ups a piece of cake. His black cat merely called him a fool. Thinking it was time for a breather, Lu Ming nearly jumped out of his skin when Wabi kicked the door in shouting, "Master!" He snapped at her, asking how many times he had to remind her to knock it off. She excitedly chimed that her card spirit could whip up cards all by itself now. While outwardly giving her a hard time over getting all giddy about such a minor feat, Lu Ming was internally screaming about how determined not to fall behind his prodigy. He got his mindset to start training, asking Ui to fetch him that sword-slashing card he had given her earlier, casually mentioning that Horan was off on a blind date. 2 days later, Lu Ming finally got around to finishing a card. Ui, seeing him completely zonked out, wailed that he should at least hand over the sword cultivator cards before his batteries ran completely low. He flicked her lightly on the forehead, telling her not to be ridiculous, and handed her a brand new card. He explained it was an updated version based on the original card's layout, mixed with his own genius. It was a card that flashed a dummy sword that she could actually activate, a little gift from him. Yui was beaming, thanking him like he'd just handed her a gold bar, giddy about her newfound knowledge and awakened sword talent. Lu Ming thought figuring out the cultivator card pattern was a walk in the park. Yet as he inspected the card, he pondered why the sword Kai was facing the wrong way, pointing straight at the activator. Ui couldn't contain her enthusiasm and exclaimed she wanted to try it right now, but Lu Ming hollered for her to hold up. He lunged at her just as she activated the card, yelling at her not to use it. An explosive boom rocked their building, sending a mushroom cloud of smoke spiraling into the city skyline. Lu Ming collapsed on the floor amidst the wreckage, clutching an unconscious Ui. She stirred, murmuring, "Master," in a panic. Ubi snatched a phone, fretting about how she might have just sent her master to the big card castle in the sky. Lu Ming yanked the phone from her and barked at her to quit talking nonsense. He wiped a bit of blood from his mouth and clarified that the sword-slashing card boosted strength by injecting some sword Kai, which unfortunately had the side effect of him needing a towel. Internally, he grumbled because ouch, that hurt, wondering if the card had turned him into a bit of a pain seeker. UBI, now a tad scared of the card, asked for something that could unleash a more elegant spectacle. Lu Ming nodded, rolling up his sleeves to sketch a new card dubbed Full Moon, a flashy 2-star sword card named for the crescent moonlight Kai it dished out. After finishing the stunning card, he presented it to her. She was over the moon, claiming its powers sounded way cooler than the blood-spitting version and that it was as rad as he was. She declared it was a huge step up from the dumb defective card. As she cheered, Lu Ming dove back into crafting the next card. Out of nowhere, the door burst open with a bang and a shower of confetti. Lu Ming, startled, thought it was an ambush and ducked for cover. A voice he'd never heard before chimed in, commenting that his strength seemed to have taken a nosedive. 2 figures stood in the doorway. One was Hyorin and the other was Lai Hyorin. Lu Ming cursed them for the commotion, and they explained they only wanted to throw him a surprise party to welcome him back. Lu Ming grilled them on who Li Hyorin was, while Yui chimed in that he was a loser they had taken down before. Li Hyorin protested he wasn't a loser, he simply bowed out last time like a true gentleman. Lu Ming couldn't help but wonder if he trekked all the way from Chengyang City just to beg for his brother's salary. Diving right into the action, Lai Hyorin challenged Lu Ming to a duel. Bystanders gathered buzzing about a 4-star card maker daring to take on Mr. Lu Ming with his original card. They murmured that he must be out of his mind, considering original cards are a card maker's lifeline, and losing that could cost him his qualification. However, UBI, in full defense mode for her master, shouted that he was the most formidable card maker. Lai Hyorin scoffed at the title and summoned his fiery card, ready to let the sparks fly. He hands it to her. She absolutely beams, saying its abilities sound much cooler than the blood-vomiting one, and that it's as awesome as he is. She claims it's way better than that dumb defective card. As she celebrates, Lu Ming returns to tinkering on a new card. Suddenly, the door slams open with a bang, and confetti flies. Lu Ming, startled, thinks it's a surprise attack and ducks for cover. A voice he doesn't recognize chimes in, commenting that his strength seems to have faded. 2 figures stand in the doorway. One is Hyorin, and the other is Lai Hyorin. Lu Ming curses them for this little ambush, and they explain they just wanted to give him a warm welcome home surprise. Lu Ming questions who Lai Hyorin is, and Yui clarifies he's a loser they previously defeated. Lai Hyorin insists he's not a loser and voluntarily gave up the last time. Lu Ming ponders if he really traveled all the way from Chengyang City just to beg for his brother's paycheck. Lai Hyorin cuts to the chase, challenging Lu Ming to a duel. Crowds gather buzzing about a 4-star card maker daring to confront Mr. Lu Ming with his original card. They comment that he's clearly lost his mind, as using it as a test run to see how stable his original card really is. Yubi yells at her master, defending him by stating he's the strongest card maker. Lai Hyorin rolls his eyes at the title and calls forth his fiery card. The blazing card zooms towards Lu Ming, and bam! An enormous explosion of flames and light rocks the place. The crowd watches in anticipation as the smoke clears. Surprisingly, Lai Hyorin is lying on the ground, his card in ruins. His buddies rush to his side while the onlookers can't believe that Lu Ming just took down a 4-star card maker. Lu Ming shrugs it off and apologizes nonchalantly, claiming he totally didn't mean to wreck his original card and had no clue he could do it that easily. He then pretends to be all confused, wondering why a 4-star card maker's card is so weak, which only added fuel to the fire. Lai Hyorin suddenly bursts out laughing, saying it's all good, and he had seen it coming. He admits he's always kept an eye on Lu Ming's growth. Lu Ming is reeling, questioning if the guy has some sort of secret crush on him, but Lai Hyorin clarifies he was talking about watching his progress. He explains that he's always been labeled as a genius and never really had any competition, leaving him scratching his head about his future. That was until he crossed paths with Lu Ming. He saw Lu Ming take down his father in a duel and had heard tales of his other wild accomplishments, which he found totally impressive. He was pumped up by how fast Lu Ming blossomed from a 1-star card maker and had made his mind up. Lai Hyorin proclaims that Lu Ming will now officially be his role model. He then gets serious and tells Lu Ming he wants to invite him to Chengyang City to join the card maker association there. He grabs Lu Ming and asks what he heard about their school getting shut down. Lai Hyorin nods, showing him a headline news post on his phone about the diploma mill getting busted by the Ministry of Education. Lu Ming is over the moon, exclaiming that the place is folding not long after he heads home. He then asks Yui if her dad filled her in on this, and she replies no. She hasn't heard from him in days and can hardly get in touch with him most of the time. Lu Ming starts to worry, realizing Yui has no clue that someone wanted to pay her father Zhang Fang a lethal visit. With the school shutting down and Zhang Fang still MIA, he had a sneaking suspicion that things had taken a turn for the worse. He ordered Yui to hunker down at home while he headed off to have a chat with her dad about the whole school mess. Upon arriving at Zhang Fang's place, he found the door wide open and a crimson puddle painting the ground. Shouting for Mr. Zhang, he nudged the door open and stepped inside, only to be greeted by a shirtless buff, Zhang Fang striking a pose amid clouds of smoke, looking as confused as a cat in a dog park. He glanced at Lu Ming and uttered, "Huh." Lu Ming, now fully fired up, confronted the shirtless Mr. Yang, calling him a lowlife and demanding to know why he was partying it up when he should be laying low. As Lu Ming charged forward, his rage morphed into pure shock upon realizing that Mr. Yang was in a world of hurt, his guts practically waving hello under a gigantic cut in his stomach. Freaking out, Lu Ming shouted for him to hang in there and whipped out his phone to call for an ambulance. Mr. Yang stopped him, insisting that no hospital visits were on the agenda, and instead asked for a red thread from a nearby drawer. Lu Ming pieced it together. A hospital was like a bad idea if Mr. Yang had someone hot on his tail, so he dashed to snag the thread. To his surprise, Mr. Zhang started stitching up his own wound like it was just a regular Tuesday. Zhang is being chased like a cat with its tail on fire, so he grabs the thread. To Lu Ming's shock, Mr. Zhang coolly starts stitching up his own wound, leaving Lu Ming in awe of his tough guy act. After completing the grisly DIY surgery, Mr. Zhang let out a sigh of relief and quipped that he was glad he didn't use the black thread he had lying around because it wouldn't look as stylish. Lu Ming was utterly gobsmacked, questioning how Mr. Zhang could be worried about fashion when he was basically one step away from the great beyond. Mr. Zhang told him to chill out and revealed a shimmering power in his chest, explaining it was a gift from Yui's mother and could heal any injury, no matter how gnarly. As the light pulsated, his wound vanished without a trace. Mr. Zhang then asked how Lu Ming knew he was being chased. Lu Ming fibbed, no matter how grave the situation. As the glow lights up the room, the wound and stitches pull a disappearing act. Mr. Zhang then casually asks Lu Ming how he figured out he was being hunted. Lu Ming, not wanting to spill the beans, tells a little fib, saying he just happened to notice something fishy the last time he dropped by, all while remembering the real reason. He had spotted Mr. Zhang's name on someone's hit list in the shadowy underworld of darkness. Believing him, Mr. Zhang called Lu Ming an honest kid and remarked how relieved he was that his daughter was with him, sounding all dramatic like he had one foot in the grave. Lu Ming insisted he should stop with the dying talk, calling Lu Ming a straight shooter and saying he feels relieved that his daughter is with him, all while sounding like he's rehearsing for a dramatic soap opera. Lu Ming tells him to cut the melodrama. As a thank you, Mr. Zhang offered to save a special spot for Lu Ming in his cultivation class, giving him access to the creme de la creme of educational resources in the whole city. Lu Ming was touched, but then dropped a bombshell. Their college was being shut down by the Ministry of Education. 30 minutes later, Lu Ming was on the phone trying to calm down Miss Anne and the other students. Mr. Zhang, now fully dressed and looking presentable, approached him with the file for the was grounded by the Ministry of Education. A half hour later, Lu Ming is on the phone soothing Miss Anne and the other students like a fireman at a barbecue. Mr. Zhang, now dressed to impress, strolls over with a file for the College Cup, a national showdown. He explained that if their college ranked in the top 100, it would validate their existence and stave off the dreaded closure. He pleaded with Lu Ming to be their representative. After Lu Ming gave his word, he found himself handed a mountain of registration forms, realizing he was expected to assemble a team. At a school gathering, Lu Ming delivered a passionate speech rallying his classmates to band together to rescue their school from the brink. Inspired, they all signed up. Liu Yuan voiced her doubts, claiming she was too weak for this battle, but the others stood firm, each determined for their own reasons. Lu Ming, fired up with another inspiring speech, warned them that doing nothing would land them a diploma from a ghost school. No one remembers urging them to take this chance to change their fate and experience the world. He's igniting the whole classroom like it's the 4th of July. Deep down, he knows it's all because Mr. Jiang promised to help him snag 4 shiny stars. Fast forward to the competition day and their squad. The three-way vocational college is squaring off against Ming Technology College. The crowd wastes no time throwing shade at them, calling them the diploma mill dropouts. As their rivals unleash the taunts, Chang Gang's blood starts to boil, but his teammates remind him of their grand scheme. Lu Ming counts down from 3, and suddenly his 4 comrades bolt from the arena like their pants are on fire, leaving him high and dry. The rival can't help but chuckle at Lu Ming's abandonment and tosses a card to kick off the match. In a flash, a colossal explosion launches the opponent into the stratosphere, scoring the first point before the rest of the opposing team can even blink. Lu Ming takes them out one by one, like a well-oiled machine, racking up a double kill, triple kill, quadra kill, and finally an ace that wipes them all out like crumbs on a table. A flashback reveals his master plan was just to jump into the fray first for every round, while his teammates figure out they were just pawns to meet some registration quota. The announcer triumphantly declares three-way vocational college the victors. As Lu Ming's team is doing the happy dance, a judge holds up a sign reading, "Overtime throwing a wrench in their celebratory parade." The red-haired girl explains the judges are suspicious that Lu Ming might have been using some pre-made cards, a sneaky move that was banned after a crafty card maker exploited a loophole ages ago. They plan to use this overtime to yank that victory right out from under them. The judges openly accuse Lu Ming of winning with an unfair advantage, claiming his cards are powered by his sister's mojo, betting that his stash will be tapped out soon. Miss Anne tries to soothe him, but Lu Ming just smirks, ready to show them who's really overreaching. A new contender, a beefed-up armored sword guy, struts onto the stage, claiming their humble card maker is no match for him. He charges straight at Lu Ming, only to be obliterated by a cloud-breaking slash from Lu Ming's tank card. Boom. 7's 21. Next up, a dark wizard tries to conjure a lightning bolt. Lu Ming just shrugs it off, calling it flashy, but utterly pointless, before countering it with an impenetrable wall of cards. The judges are slack-jawed as Lu Ming's card count skyrockets to 20, then 30-40, and finally 50 all. While he effortlessly takes down every challenger they hurl, an official check confirms that all 50 of his super fancy cards were genuinely crafted in the mere 2 weeks since signing up, a feat the judges thought was as likely as finding a unicorn. Furious, the head judge demands that last year's champions, the MI Vocational College team, be brought in. The intimidating team rolls in, but the second they lay eyes on Lu Ming, they bow and concede the match faster than you can say, "We're out of here." With no one left to face off against, the judges are left with no choice but to crown Lu Ming's college as the champions of this round. 3 days later, Lu Ming is hard at work in card research, realizing his sword cards are as outdated as dial-up internet. He stumbles across a 3-star Fire Whip card with a nifty Lorne ability and decides to fuse it. The fusion process kicks off in a wild blaze, freaking out his friends, but it miraculously produces a power-packed new card, Flames of Heaven. Just as he's about to test its chaotic and totally unaimed power, his buddy bursts in with an urgent alert from their team chat. The judges have hastily moved their next face-off to the following day against Yang Battle Academy home to a peak 4-star battler, clearly attempting to shut Lu Ming down before he can craft any new tricks. Undeterred, Lu Ming flashes a full hand of cards, grinning as he vows to show his opponents a brand new style of defeat. The next day, his rival, the Jiang team captain, scoffs at him for relying on clever antics. Lu Ming merely yawns and retorts that his opponent talks too much, engulfing him in heavenly flames that render his energy armor useless. He goes on to annihilate the entire opposing team with a medley of elemental cards, proving he's got more than just one trick up his sleeve. In the final round, Jiang sends out a pint-sized kid named Xiao Yan, who swears he'll make them pay for their teammates' fall. He launches a blazing storm kick, and Lu Ming realizes with a jolt that his previous battles have shredded his deck, leaving him with just one sword card to his name. The kick strike sending him stumbling back like he just stepped on a Lego brick. As his friends shout warnings, Xiao Yan readies a flaming haymaker. Lu Ming, kneeling but unbroken, brandishes his last card and asks the boy if he's ever heard of a sword technique that descends from the heavens. The grand finale of the Academy Cup kicks off between Lu Ming and Xiao Yan. From the sidelines, a banner announces the first bout between Sancho and Xiang, with the grand showdown being Lu Ming versus Xiao Yan. Lu Ming, his fist ignited with orange flames, leaps skyward and calls out his technique, Flame Sun Fist. Xiao Yan stares up in shock as a blue energy blade takes form in his hand. An onlooker quips about how dumb it is for Lu Ming to put himself in the air where dodging is as impossible as finding a needle in a haystack. A massive explosion of orange and purple energy erupts at their clash. The crowd is left in awe, one person wondering what in the world that move was, while another doubts if any card maker should wield such a force. An older man in sunglasses recognizes the technique as a legendary move from the Wang family, noting that Lu Ming took the sword aura to amp up his power momentarily. The man adds that Lu Ming even outdid the original, which only allowed for sword strikes after the boost morphing it into a heavy punch instead. The impact creates a shockwave that wrecks part of the arena wall like a toddler with a tantrum. As the dust settles, a spectator wonders who came out on top in the end. A lone figure stands tall, spitting blood like he had one too many smoothies, sparking someone to declare that Lu Ming took the L. But another brave soul urges everyone to glance over at Xiao Yan, who's sprawled defeated on the ground, while a hefty surge of power pulses into him. The judges observe in stunned silence. A guy from the opposing side yells that Sancha Vocational Technical School advancing makes 0 sense, swearing they'll crush them next time for sure. 1 week later, Lu Ming finds himself in a dim forest outside the city at night. He ponders that while they made it through, round 2 will surely be a whole new ballgame with tougher foes. Noting that Lu Ming took the sword aura to amp up his power for just a moment, the dude continues that Lu Ming even one-upped the original, which only allowed for sword swipes after the power boost, transforming it into a mighty smack. The impact sends a shockwave that turns part of the arena wall into a pile of rubble. As the smoke lifts, a curious spectator asks who ended up winning. A solitary figure stands tall, spewing blood into the air, making someone shout that Lu Ming is done for. Yet another shouts for everyone to check Xiao Yan, who's sprawled on the ground, defeated as a hefty surge of power courses through him. The judges watch jaws agape in stunned silence. A team member from the opposing crew roars that Sancha Vocational Technical School making it forward is outright ludicrous, vowing they'll wipe the floor with them next round. 1 week later, Lu Ming finds himself in a shadowy forest outside the city at night. He reflects that even if they've moved on, the next round is bound to be tougher with fiercer challengers, vowing that they'll wipe the floor with them next time. A week later, Lu Ming finds himself wandering through a forest at night, pondering that even though they made it to the next round, things are about to get real with tougher contenders. He's pretty pumped that the escape card he slaved over is finally ready for action. Deciding it's time for a test flight, he spots some small horned demon-like critters munching grass nearby. One of those little monsters snorts and charges straight at him. But hold on. Just like that, the tiny beast morphs into a colossal shadowy fiend with glowing red peepers and dark purple lightning swirling around it. Lu Ming holds up a shiny golden card which he dubs the Cloud Shuttle card. He yells for a beam of light to whisk him away. Suddenly, a big old bullet-shaped beam of light pops into existence before him. He stands there, looking utterly perplexed for a sec, only to glance down at his foot as a thin wisp of light appears. He looks up, jaw hitting the floor, as the golden projectile zooms past him, sending the gargantuan beast skyward. He mutters that the plan was to get him out of dodge, not launch his furry foe into orbit. But hey, maybe it's not the worst outcome after all. Who decided these escape cards could only be used for personal escapes anyway? The beast rides a golden light, howling what sounds like a farewell to its mom. Up above in Kinging City, a bunch of folks on a rooftop spot the streak of light. One fella gets all excited, calling it a shooting star and urging everyone to make a wish. But then a dude in a cap looks on in horror, realizing it looks less like a wish granter and more like something bad. He screams that it's a beast plummeting toward the city. The brute crashes down into the street, sending chaos and panic through the crowd as people scream and scramble for safety. Meanwhile, back in the forest, Lu Ming is humming a little tune, cheerfully singing that all of this is totally his fault. Just then, he picks up a call from Xiao Bai, who's in a tizzy, spilling that a beast from the forest has popped up in the city and asks if he's all right. Lu Ming, feigning the most exaggerated shock, plays dumb, asking about the city and what beasts. Realizing with increasing dread that he's the reason for all this, he spins a tall tale, laughing and assuring Xiao Bai that a master like him would never get into trouble. He claims he just knew the beast was going to show up and dashed over to handle it. Inside, he swears he can't let anyone know he's the culprit. Xiao Bai is impressed, remarking, "That's our master." As Xiao Bai asks when he's coming back for round 2 tomorrow, a gargantuan 5-star beast with menacing horns and leathery wings swoops down behind Lu Ming. It crashes down on him, but suddenly gets caught up in some glowing blue chains. Lu Ming, lying on the ground, wonders if he's just been snagged. He looks up to see a hooded figure looming over him, suspecting they might be poachers judging by their fashion choices. The figure quips that what a coincidence it is to run into him here. The dude pulls back his hood, showing off a smirking, spiky-haired guy who asks if Lu Ming is here to handle the beasts too. Lu Ming casually replies, "Something like that." The man, referred to as Boss Fan by his lackey, asks Lu Ming to do him a solid and reinforce the beast's bindings, explaining that if it breaks loose, there will be serious trouble for the city. He promises to pay Lu Ming for his help. Lu Ming agrees with a grin, saying that since he was personally requested, he couldn't say no, though he's thinking to himself that he doesn't trust this guy one bit. Lu Ming whips out a card, sending a stream of purple energy into the chains, cinching them tighter. His buddy cracks a compliment that it was nicely done, and Boss Fan agrees, saying the restraints are firm and the beast isn't escaping anytime soon. The lackey reminds Boss Fan not to forget to pay him. Boss Fan confidently replies, "Of course," then turns to Lu Ming with a grin that sends shivers down his spine, promising to give him his payment while red energy gathers in his hand. Lu Ming just smirks back, biding time before the ferocious roar erupts. The beast busts through the glowing chains like they're made of candy wrappers. Boss Fan is startled, demanding to know how the beast broke free again and glaring at Lu Ming, accusing him of engineering the chaos. Lu Ming feigns innocence. Just then, the beast swats Boss Fan away like a pesky fly. Lu Ming holds up another cloud shuttle card, telling his dear beast bro to hang tight. A beam of light shoots from the card and hits the beast, sending it flying off into the sunset once again. The poacher, hustling away, stops in his tracks, looking back in confusion and asking what on earth just occurred as the beast disappears with a trail of whimsical musical notes. Lu Ming dusts himself off cheerfully, declaring that everything is just ducky now. But right outside a cave, the beast crashes back down in front of him, roaring that it's time for some revenge on the silly human. Lu Ming, flabbergasted, shouts in frustration, asking what in the world and why on earth this thing is back for round 2. Suddenly, Xiao Yan bursts onto the scene, engulfed in flames, checking in on Lu Ming. Joined by a woman wielding a staff, Xiao Yan explains that even though he lost the last face-off, he hit the books and trained really hard to deal with the horde of beasts. Lu Ming recognizes him, mistakenly calling him Little Wang from next door, giving a nod to how much he's grown. Xiao Yan raging corrects him, reminding him that he's from Xiang Academy. Lu Ming shrugs it off, saying he's off for a quick nap. But Xiao Yan's sister warns him it's risky to go back alone with the beast still on the prowl. Just as she finishes her warning, a colossal shadow with glowing red eyes looms over them both. Xiao Yan yells for his sister to brace herself and then darts forward with a flaming fist, but his attack barely tickles the beast, who merely comments that it's adorable. Realizing his efforts had zero impact, Xiao Yan is left in shock. The beast scoffs, calling them foolish, and swipes at his sister with a massive claw, bowling her over like it's nothing. Xiao Yan lies there defeated, lamenting that it's over and all his fault for trying to be the big hero. He tearfully apologizes to his unconscious sister and his mom and dad. The beast, clearly over his sob story, tells him to zip it, claiming they totally weren't planning on taking him out, but this guy just won't zip it. As the monster readies its claw for a smackdown, Xiao Yan screams for a lifeguard. Suddenly, Lu Ming swoops in with another cloud shuttle card faster than a speeding ticket. The beast gets caught in the spotlight and goes flying again, yowling like it's just seen a ghost. Lu Ming strolls over to the flattened Xiao Yan, calling him Xiao Wang, and warns him that the place is more dangerous than a bear in a honey factory time to grab his sister and hightail it. He chuckles to himself about how well that cloud shuttle card works in this cramped space. Then he sets off a series of small, fiery explosions that Xiao Yan watches in awe, uttering how cool it is and recognizing it as the magic of being a combat card creator. He looks on resolutely as Lu Ming stands triumphantly among the explosions, proclaiming that he's decided to become a combat card maker. Somewhere else, chilling in a hot spring pool, a dark-haired lady wonders what Lu Ming's been up to lately. It's like fireworks in here with explosions lighting up the cave. Xiao Yan is wide-eyed, totally blown away, and can't help but say it's the ultimate show of a combat card maker's skills. He stands there with fierce determination as Lu Ming, amidst the chaos, proclaims he's set on becoming a combat card maker. Meanwhile, in a hot spring, a mysterious dark-haired woman is deep in thought. Fueled by fierce determination as Lu Ming stood amid explosions, proclaiming he'd made up his mind to become a combat card maker. Meanwhile, in a bubbling hot spring, a dark-haired woman pondered. Her white-haired sidekick nudges her, showcasing her phone, and says her brother's become quite the hot topic these days. The phone screen shows an article featuring Lu Ming boldly declaring he's taken down a 5-star monster. The article's racked up over 1 million likes, and the comment section is buzzing with surprise and admiration, with tons of people dreaming of switching careers to be a cardmaster. Meanwhile, at the Academy Cup conference hall, a guy bangs his fist on the table, insisting that Lu Ming's behavior is off the charts, irresponsible. Another official agrees, grumbling that when the impressionable kiddies see Lu Ming winning battlegrounds by hoarding cards, it's bound to lead to trouble. A third voice jumps in, saying it seriously knocks the balance off all the professions. A no-nonsense man declares that we've got to take strict action against this Lu Ming fella. He announces that from this moment on, promotion battles are going to be team gigs, not solo showdowns with no individual scores. Only team scores count. Now he even squeezes the schedule into 1 round per day. There's a snapshot of Lu Ming's profile, and one onlooker observes that the new rules appear to have a direct target him. Back at the Lu Ming card shop, his team gathers to discuss these new changes. The chubby teammate notes that the competition has flipped to team battles, and 1 round a day, it's clearly aimed right at them. Lu Ming, with his usual carefree grin, asks if he's for real, and upon an enthusiastic nod, he exclaims, "It's fantastic." His teammate looks puzzled, reminding him that they're just there to fill the roster and haven't even gotten their feet wet in battle training. Lu Ming reassures them not to sweat it. Just focus on their strengths and work together. He explains that the sooner the competition wraps up, the sooner he can tackle the mess the principal dumped on him. He also admits that the light shuttle core card still has some kinks in it, but he guesses it won't throw him off too much. Xiao asks for the battle blueprint, and Lu Ming casually explains that since things have changed, they'll just wing it. His teammates groan, realizing it's going to be a wild ride. At the Academy Cup arena, the announcer fires up the crowd, welcoming everyone to the much-anticipated Top 500 advancement match. The first face-off is between the legendary Shield Academy team and the up-and-coming 3-way Technical Academy crew. An official from the conference hall is perched in the stands, itching to see what other tricks Lu Ming can cook up. The match kicks off, and the captain of the Shield Academy team yells for his guardian shield. He conjures a colossal, translucent blue shield and declares, "I've studied all your previous notes, Lu Ming. You're all about offense, so I've poured all my chips into this defense shield. You're toast." Unfazed, Lu Ming slips on a pair of pixelated shades and simply says, "Alrighty then." His teammate declares that he's like the sun shining bright. And the boy dashes forward, radiating a bright yellow glow, insisting he's a moongazer. The opposing captain raises an eyebrow at the wacky combo. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light explodes, forcing the judges to shield their eyes, with one yelling, "What the heck it's like staring at the sun." The light floods the entire arena, catching even Lu Ming's team in the crossfire. The Shield Academy captain tells his crew not to panic, claiming his shield is indestructible and they're in the clear. But out of nowhere, a golden boomerang-shaped attack smacks them from behind, breaking up their formation and launching them into the air. The announcer exclaims an unbelievable strike. From the 3-way college, the move is dubbed Moon Wheel 1000-Year Kill. Lu Ming's team cheers in victory as he casually mentions he forgot to mention his move has a boomerang effect. His teammates scream for a little heads up next time he wants to coordinate. The following day, they face off with the gay Aji Academy team, a dream squad of muscle-bound warriors, all peak 3-star energy fighters. Their captain scoffs at Lu Ming, saying they all watched yesterday's match and think he's a joke. In the stands, judges and spectators are all rocking sunglasses, clearly prepared for Lu Ming's dazzling light tricks. Lu Ming slaps a hand on his chubby teammate's shoulder and says it's his time to shine. The teammate steers into the arena, and the ISEKAI'd Academy captain laughs, asking if he's still trying to compete, then yells for his team to turn on the hormone power. As they pose, a rainbow wave of energy erupts from the muscular lineup. He conjures up a gigantic translucent blue shield, all while telling Lu Ming he's done his homework and knows his deck is all about the offense, so he dumped every point he had into this bad boy of a defense shield, claiming Lu Ming's as good as done. Lu Ming just tosses on some pixelated shades and goes, "Sure thing." His teammate chimes in that he's the radiant sun shining down. The kid then starts dashing off, glowing like a lightsaber, and insists he's the one gazing down from the moon. The opposing captain raises an eyebrow, baffled at what kind of ridiculous combo he just heard. The boy took off, running a glowing yellow aura around him as he proclaimed that he was the one staring at the moon. The opposing captain raised an eyebrow, questioning what sort of ludicrous combination that was. Suddenly, a blinding flash erupts, leaving the judges squinting like they just stared into the sun, with one shouting that it's all too bright. The brilliant light envelops the arena, hitting even Lu Ming's own team. The Shield Academy captain tells his crew not to freak out because his shield is as solid as a rock, and they're untouchable. But wait, a golden boomerang attack comes out of nowhere, smashing their formation and sending them flying like popcorn kernels. The announcer can't believe it and shouts about an insane hit from Three-Way College. The move gets dubbed as Moon Wheel 1,000-Year Kill. Lu Ming's team is celebrating like they just won the lottery, and he casually mentions he forgot to say his move comes back like a boomerang. His teammates yell at him, identified as Moon Wheel 1,000-Year Kill. Lu Ming's team basked in victory, and he casually mentioned he forgot to mention that his move had a boomerang effect. His teammates erupted in disbelief, asking for a little heads up next time he decides to pull magic tricks. The following day, they're up against the ISEKAI'd Academy team, a squad of muscle-bound warriors who are all on peak 3-star energy buff status. Their captain strolls over to Lu Ming and casually mentions they all had a front-row seat to his match yesterday, and they're not impressed. In the stands, judges and fans alike are sporting sunglasses, clearly braced for Lu Ming's dazzling light attacks. Lu Ming lays a hand on his round teammate's shoulder, encouraging him that it's his time to shine. The teammate, bracing themselves for Lu Ming's light-filled attacks. Lu Ming placed a hand on his chubby teammate's shoulder, encouraging him that it was finally his moment to shine. The teammate steps into the arena. The ISEKAI'd Academy captain scoffs, wondering if this chubby guy is really going to compete, and then shouts for his team to unleash the hormones. A blast of rainbow energy shoots out as the muscle team flexes their way into action, but suddenly they get launched into the air. Lu Ming is seen holding this shiny blue card like it's the latest iPhone. One of the muscle-bound guys now on the floor says, "Oh yee," like he just won a prize. Back at the hot spring, the two ladies are still lounging like they own the place. Then Lu Ming is seen flinging a card that completely misses the mark, and his buddy asks where he's aiming. Lu Ming responds, "Chill, I've got plenty more where that came from." The card lets out this swirling purple energy that wraps around the beefy opponents, making them lose their balance and strike poses like they're auditioning for a runway show. Lu Ming scratches his head, wondering why the card took off like it owned the place. In the judges' box, the no-nonsense dude shouts to cut the broadcast like he's the director of a horror movie. Fast forward 3 days and 3 rounds, and the announcer declares she's totally become a fangirl of this wild 3-way vocational team. Their next showdown is against the powerhouse that is the 360 Academy. Their captain, a 4-star swordmaster, boasts about how, even though they're terrifyingly buff, they're still super prepared. He showcases his fancy anti-glare blue light dazzling light all-in-one 360 Guardian safety goggles. Lu Ming interrupts with, "Dude, I get it. Just drink some water." He then turns to his teammate Xiao, asking what skills she's got since the opponents are already being targeted, and her ice arrows are a no-go. She shyly says her skill is colorful smoke bombs, which they used for cosplay club competitions. Lu Ming tells her to toss one. As she does, the 360 Academy team prepares for a trick of their own, raising a gigantic 360-degree no-blind spot Guardian shield. Their captain sneers, asking if Lu Ming is scared now. Lu Ming just grins, holding up a fan of cards, and says he's more worried they won't be able to handle what's coming. A barrage of energy blasts pummels the shield from all angles, smashing it to bits and sending the 360 Academy team flying like they just got hit by a tornado. An announcer chimes in that three-way vocational is advancing as the stern judge collapses in his chair, mumbling, "What a disaster." Back at his shop, Lu Ming shows Zhou 2 cards, one for Savage Charge and another for Graveyard. He boasts that he's finally mastered composite card technology, allowing 2 cards to stack effects like a pancake on Sunday morning for maximum impact. Xiao asks when they're going to get into Sword Aura studies. Lu Ming yawned, saying once she sees composite tech, she won't be so hung up on the Sword Aura anymore. He activates the combined card and outpops this massive, shadowy beast that seems like it's auditioning for a scary movie. He announces it's time to really appreciate the magic of card making. The outcome, a cartoonishly blocky version of the beast that looks like it sneezed out of a games console. His teammate rushes in panting to report that their first opponent in the top 100 is the star team from Finland City. Lu Ming shrugs, saying they've already nailed the mission of getting into the top 100. His buddy insists that if they play their cards right, they could rake in a fortune, showing him a picture on his phone of the dreamy idol team pointing out their traffic and cash flow like it's the hot gossip. Lu Ming gets a call from teacher Anne, who spills the tea that the school failed a bunch of inspections and is being shut down. Lu Ming grits his teeth, realizing those pesky judges are at it again, and they really need to snag at least one more win. She reminds him that all the top 100 teams are top tier, and their original goal was just to crash the party. Lu Ming reassures her not to sweat it. He's trained for peak 3-star level and whipping up new card techniques, so snagging a win will be a piece of cake. In the pre-match lounge for the top 100 tournament, the team chats about how their opponents are all 3-star and above, like they're discussing the latest superhero movie. Lu Ming asks where Liu Yuan is and is told she's been dashing to the bathroom since they got there, probably a case of nerves. In the bathroom, Liu Yuan splashes water on her face, giving herself a pep talk to keep it together for Senior Liu. A shadowy figure looms behind her in the mirror, and her reflection shifts, morphing into a confident villain ready to unleash chaos. Meanwhile, in the arena, the long-awaited Top 100 tournament kicks off. The first match is Team Finland against Three-Way Vocational Academy. The Finland team, an idol training squad, struts into the arena. Their captain, a 5-star rookie waterbender, tells Lu Ming today's the day they settle the score. Lu Ming, confused, mutters that he doesn't even know the dude. The captain gestures to the hefty guy behind him and says, "Ask him." One of the Finland members launches a ginormous flame hurricane attack. Lu Ming's team bolts as he coolly draws several cards, leaping through the firestorm and unleashing a hail of sword aura projectiles that snuff out the flames like a fire extinguisher in a cartoon. The Finland team's analyst quips that Lu Ming's card-making speed is downright terrifying, and clashing with him using sword cultivator cards is as pointless as a screen door on a submarine. He tells his captain his analysis was spot on. The captain sizes up Lu Ming, noting he's a rank 5, throwing a ton of effort against a rank 3. He reveals he's been binge-watching all their previous matches and knows that Lu Ming's crew is filled with support roles that help him unleash his biggest powers. He declares that once Lu Ming is isolated, he's toast. The captain raises his hands and encapsulates Lu Ming's entire team in a massive, jaw-dropping construct of jagged ice that fills the arena like a winter wonderland. One of the Finland team members remarks that they're just kids who need to be schooled, especially their chubby friend. Another member adds that since he seems to like courting death, he'll make sure he gets a thorough lesson. The member charges at Lu Ming's buddy, and as Lu Ming sits trapped, he realizes this whole mess is because of his friend's reckless video antics. As his friend screams for help, the ice construct starts to crack and shatter. Out of the chaos, Liu Yuan bursts free like a superhero. The Finland team's analyst comments that Lu Ming's card-making speed is downright scary, and clashing with him using sword cultivator cards is like bringing a spoon to a knife fight. He tells his captain his analysis was spot on. The captain glances at Lu Ming and notes that he's a rank 5 trying so hard against a rank 3. He spills that he's watched all Lu Ming's past matches and realizes his team is made up of support folks ready to boost him up to crazy heights. He confidently declares that once Lu Ming is isolated, that's game over. With a dramatic flair, the captain raises his arms and traps Lu Ming's whole crew in a gigantic jaw-dropping ice construct that fills the arena. One of the Finland team members snickers that they're just kids that need to hit the books. especially that chubby friend of theirs. Another buddy chimes in that since he loves flirting with death, he's going to ensure he meets his end in style. The bully charges at Lu Ming's friend. Trapped Lu Ming realizes this madness is a result of his friend's reckless video. As his friend screams for help, the ice structure begins to crack, and then, bam, it shatters. Liu Yuan bursts free like realized this was all thanks to his friend's crazy video. As his friend yelled for rescue, the ice structure began to crack and then burst apart. Liu Yuan emerged, having broken free. The announcer is absolutely flabbergasted that three-way vocationals team has thrown a curveball. The crowd is buzzing, scratching their heads, wondering who that girl is, because she's only ranked 2 yet. Just sent Finland's 4-rank warrior flying into the wall. Lu Ming, watching the whole spectacle, feels something was off long before the match even began. But this feels a little extra. He pulls out his golden eye technique and spots a spirit hitching a ride on his classmate, remarking that her strength is something to write home about. Suddenly, a small cat spirit pops up, insisting that if he doesn't show up soon, the readers might forget he was ever there. Lu Ming spots that Liu Yuan's energy feels like it's been juiced up beyond belief. Realizing the secret sauce is her newfound strength, the analyst for the opposing team is left slack-jawed, admitting he totally flubbed the calculations on Lu Ming having a hidden ace up his sleeve. A member of the Finland team tries a thunderflame attack against Liu Yuan, but she nonchalantly swats it away like a pesky fly and sends him soaring through the air screaming. The crowd is in sheer disbelief that this 2-rank girl just took down 3 4-rank players like they were made of cardboard. The Finland captain's face twists into a grimace, realizing she's at least packing the punch of a peak 4-rank, maybe even a 5-rank like him. He decides he needs some space and barks orders at his teammates to form a protective wall while he hatches a 100% foolproof victory plan. He throws a few jabs at Lu Ming, asking if he really thinks they'll give him a breather, and instructs Liu Yuan to pounce. Lu Ming turns to see his plump teammate hunkered down behind the now daunting Liu Yuan and can't help but sigh. Realizing the boy won't lift a finger until he's taken a few hits himself, he knows it's time for him to step up. He pulls out a dark card from his deck, unleashing a tidal wave of energy that shakes the Finland City tournament arena. Lu Ming, standing across from this display, is left wide-eyed, realizing this is already a 6-rank power level. The opponent apologizes, saying he really doesn't want to hurt anyone before unleashing a massive waterfall that turns the entire stadium into a swimming hole. The crowd gets swept up in this unexpected deluge, suddenly finding themselves in an impromptu water park. One woman gasps how refreshing it is, while another exclaims that watching a match while getting a water park experience is pretty darn sweet. Lu Ming, drenched from head to toe, figures out the water's all splash, no damage. His buddy gives him an earful for being reckless enough to knock himself out, asking who won. The announcer chimes in, declaring the match a tie, sending it into overtime with substitute players. Lu Ming grits his teeth, realizing now this is exactly what his opponent had in mind with his big plan. Both teams are told to send in their replacements. Someone from the crowd pipes up, recalling that 3-way vocational academy was short on 2-rank players, exclaiming that watching a match only to end up in a water park is totally worth it. Soaked Lu Ming figures out that the water flow was all about impact, not damage. His buddy teases him for being reckless enough to knock himself out and asks who the winner is. An announcement rings out, declaring the match a tie, bumping it into substitute overtime. Lu Ming grinds his teeth, realizing this was all part of his opponent's 100% strategy. Both teams are told to send in their substitutes. From the crowd, someone reminds that the 3-way vocational academy couldn't gather enough 2-rank, which was his opponent's master plan. Both teams were instructed to send in their substitutes. Someone from the audience recalled that the 3-way vocational academy couldn't muster enough 2-rank. Enter a very young girl sporting pink hair and horns, Xiao, as the surprise substitute player. The audience whispers, acknowledging that even though she's already a 2-rank card maker at such a tender age, she's still just a kid. Her burly mentor reassures her, saying as long as she follows his lead, she's gonna be just fine. The Finland team's substitute is unveiled as a peak 3-rank elementalist, who happens to be the team captain's twin brother. Meet the genius Zhang Xuan. Xuan smugly asks Xiao if she's even finished elementary school, yet warning her to study hard or risk getting scolded at home. Not wanting to come off as a bully to a kid, he offers her the courtesy of going first. Xiao, with an intrigued grin, asks if he's really certain, then causing it to explode open and unveil a monstrous mountain of cards. Yang Xuan's sibling hollers a warning that she's definitely using the infamous shameless hoarding tactic from the waterlogged stands, warning her to study hard or she'll be hearing it at home. Not wanting to look like a bully, he offers her the first shot. Xiao asks if he's serious, then drops her pink backpack to the ground, which spills open to reveal a mountain of cards. Jiang Xuan's brother yells that she must be using the notorious hoarding tactic. From the pool, Lu Ming cheers Xiao on to ignore the noise and unload her treasure trove of cards to wear the competition down. One of his pals pipes up with concern that even with a whole heap of cards, Xiao's still a 2 rank going up against a peak 3 rank. Lu Ming shrugs it off, saying, "It's cool as long as nothing crazy happens." Suddenly, Jiang Xuan launches an attack, instantly encasing Xiao's backpack and all the cards inside. He then adds with a smirk that being the honest guy he is, he'll let her play the one card she's holding. Xiao's lips curl into a smirk, revealing she was one step ahead of him, and her backpack was stuffed with nothing but junk cards. Holding up a single red card that starts to glow with an intense sword aura, she whips out a lightning-fast strike of red energy that sends Jiang Xuan sailing out of the arena. The announcer bellows that Sancha's 2-rank cardmaker has scored a fatal hit. An ambulance is summoned for Jiang Xuan, apologizing for not sticking to his game plan. She elaborates that making cards one by one was a drag, so she funneled all the energy sword aura into that one card. Her team bursts into cheers, celebrating their victory and singing Lu Ming's praises for his brilliant strategy. Later on at Lu Ming's card shop, Xiao shows him her phone bubbling over with excitement that their match is going totally viral. Lu Ming glances at his own phone where a message from Kang Yang of the association pops up. It's a formality certifying that his title has officially changed to Sword Card Master, a top-tier battle gig with super tough training conditions. Just then, Zhang Yang himself rings in. He tells Lu Ming to drop the president bit because from here on out, Lu Ming is the new president of the Sword Card Association, leveling the playing field. He congratulates. She sends him flying out of the arena. The announcer is going wild, shouting that Sancha's 2-rank cardmaker has delivered a devastating blow. An ambulance is called for Jiang Xuan. Xiao strolls over to Lu Ming, apologizing for not sticking to his game plan. She explains that making cards one by one was like watching paint dry, so she decided to concentrate all that energy sword aura into one epic card. Her team bursts into cheers, celebrating their victory and praising Lu Ming for his genius strategy. Later at Lu Ming's card shop, Xiao shows off her phone beaming as she tells him their match is completely on fire. Lu Ming glances at his phone only to find a message from Kang Yang of the association confirming that he has officially leveled up to Sword Card Master, a fancy title for a serious powerhouse fighter that requires a training routine tougher than a 2-horned bull's skin. Right then, Zhang Yang calls in hot. He tells Lu Ming to ditch the president label because the new title belongs to Lu Ming. Now welcome to co-presidency in the Sword Card Association, buddy. He gives a hearty congrats to President Lu and briefs him that his reward points for taking down the 5-ranked beast will be all set, assuming his school doesn't get the axe first. Evening the odds. He congratulated President Lu and informed him that his reward points for taking down the 5-ranked beast would be approved soon, but only if their school could dodge the shutdown. This leaves Lu Ming scratching his head, wondering how on earth the school could close its doors after they just snagged a championship trophy. Meanwhile, in his office, Zhang Yang is busy giving orders to his underling to make sure Lu Ming gets tagged as a sword card master, keeping his shenanigans far away from the card makers. Oh, and he also tells them to reach out to the inspection department to get the ball rolling. After Lu Ming lets out a big sigh about his new gig, enter Yansuki, a sprightly fellow who strolled into the shop. He introduces himself as the guy Lu Ming previously knocked out in a match and then heroically rescued from a cave. Yansuki admits he got served, and now he's on a quest for tips about sword card master training. Lu Ming's taken aback, remembering that Yansuki used to be an energy warrior, but Yansuki adds a twist. He's ditched that in favor of a new path, owning up to the drastic measure of destroying his own core, which leaves Lu Ming and Xiao totally flabbergasted. But hey, you've got to hand it to him for his determination. Lu Ming shares that the first step to mastering this art is learning how to stack those sword aura patterns. With his enthusiasm cranked up to 11, Yansuki bolts off into a fiery mental montage of his training, showering Lu Ming with thanks, declaring that setbacks will only fuel his fire. He promises to become a sword card master as badass as Lu Ming. Soon enough, another contender rolls in Lai Hyorin, whose original card went kaput. He's itching for a showdown with Lu Ming. He's caught wind of Lu Ming's new title as a sword card master and declares their bout will be about which profession reigns supreme. Lu Ming feels a wave of mixed emotions as Shio shows him that sword card master is blazing hot right now, being dubbed the strongest. Spotting his chance, Lu Ming decides to cash in on these oblivious challengers to show off the might of his class. Just as he's about to take on Leorin's challenge, an urgent text from teacher Anne crashes in. Apparently, the school might be facing another shutdown. He quickly tells Shio to keep an eye on the shop and dashes to the school. Upon arrival, he sees teacher Anne and Leorin staring at a gigantic fissure in the ground next to an old crumbling building. Teacher Anne explains that the inspection department popped in for a surprise check and issued a 2-day ultimatum to fix this crack or say goodbye to the school. Lu Ming senses a weird energy wave emanating from below. Leorin insists that as the cardmaker spokesperson, it's his duty to tackle this problem. Frustrated, Lu Ming watches him casually toss a rock into the ravine. Lu Ming, unfazed, whips out a card with control and C on it, which magically conjures up a perfect duplicate of the building and seamlessly drops it into the crack, sealing it up. Teacher Anne can't help but exclaim how slick that was. But just then the ground shakes and a colossal burst of green energy blasts from the sealed crack, flinging all three of them skyward. A powerful rank 5 energy surges, and from the glow, a ghostly knight in dark armor rides in on a spooky horse. Leorin immediately turns to Lu Ming, pointing fingers and blaming him for waking this slumbering specter. With no other cards left in his hand, Leorin gears up to fight, launching a lightning-fast killer combo of fire and ice. But the spectral knight simply stands there soaking up the whole attack, like it's a day at the spa. Its green aura flaring out like it just won the jackpot. Lu Ming warns against throwing punches that only empower the opponent, noting that the knight seems sluggish. He calls forth a graveyard warrior to keep the knight busy while they make a run for it. With a battle cry to the others, he leads the retreat. Lai Hyorin grumbles that sword card masters are a bunch of scaredy cats. As they dash for freedom, they hit a wall of green light, trapping them in a massive glowing labyrinth. A ghostly girl named Mina pops up, introducing herself and starting a melodramatic tale about a teacher she had a crush on. But before she can spill it all, 3 doorways appear, each leading to a different grim conclusion of her story. The ghostly gal informs them that they have to pick the right ending if they want to escape. As his pals argue, Lu Ming quips that the ending should be the teacher throwing her a sweet 17 birthday bash. Miraculously, a voice declares his answer as the right one. The maze and the knight vanish, but Mina sticks around. She declares that the one who answered right can skedaddle, but the rest have to stay put. Her face twists into a sinister grin as she lunges for them, her voice commanding them to remain. Dark tendrils slither about, grabbing Lai Hyorin and teacher Anne, who now stare at Lu Ming with glowing, possessed eyes. He's stuck, unable to fight back for fear of causing them harm. Just when it looks like his enchanted buddies are about to strike, a catgirl with razor-sharp claws swoops in, slicing the tendrils and liberating them from the spirit's clutches. She declares that anyone who gets the answer right can skip out, but the rest of the gang is stuck here. Sorry, folks. With a grin that could scare a demon, she lunges forward, ordering them to stay put. Dark tendrils ensnare Lai Hyorin and teacher Anne, who suddenly turn into creepy sidekicks with glowing eyes, targeting poor Lu Ming. He's frozen like a deer in headlights, worried about accidentally hurting his friends. Just when those possessed pals who turned on Lu Ming with eyes glowing like headlights, he felt frozen, unable to fight back for fear of hurting them. Just as his possessed buddies were about to swing, a catgirl with razor-sharp claws swooped in, slicing through the tendrils and liberating them from the spirit's grasp.